Welcome to the conclusion of WDWNT March Madness 2018, a tournament of the tournament to decide the best attraction currently at the Walt Disney World Resort. I'm Tom Corliss. Joining me, of course, the illustrious panel back for the exciting 3-hour finale. Got a minute and a half. Got Ashley Jasmer, David Smith, Marcy Smith, Nathan Hartman, Nick Cicero, Jason Diffendahl all joining me. Say hello, everybody.
Woohoo.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
For the sake of time, I'm introducing you all quickly because we have so much to do tonight. If you have not joined us yet for this, you should stop right now and go listen from the beginning. It's available on YouTube. It's available through our podcast feed. There's a million different ways you can listen, but you don't want to miss the beginning of this. You don't want to come in halfway.
True.
So make sure you go back and watch those. Those of you who have been with us for this whole ride, welcome back. And those of you who still have a chance at winning this thing, it should be a very exciting evening, I'm sure. And even if you're not playing along, I think the discussions, these attraction battles are going to be pretty intriguing as we're down to the Swell 16, the legally clearable and kind of cute name we came up with this next round. And so, yeah. Jason, why don't you explain for the people still playing along with March Madness this year exactly what's going on this year?
So we are now at round 3, the Swell 16 round. That means that in this round, every win is worth 2 points. So the past 2 rounds have been worth 1 point, and now this tonight these games are worth 2 points each. And then when we get to the finals, what is it? The Phantasmic 4.
Phantasmic 4, yeah. Well, next up is the E-Ticket 8. Then the Phantasmic 4, and then the final.
So the Swell 16 and the E-Ticket 8 are worth 2 points per game, per win, and the Phantasmic 4 and the finals are worth 3 points. So as it stands right now, out of the 500 and some people that are playing along, the max you could have at this point is 8 points. No one has 8 points. There's one person with 7 points.
7?
Yeah, 7. There are 11 people with 6 points, and then there's like 100 and some people with 5 or 4 points. So it really is anybody's game at this point. Unless all of your teams have lost, there are some people that have no points. Sorry about that.
We're just glad you're listening along and that you want to be part of it. And better luck next year.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's where things are right now at this point.
Yeah, so, and we got some great prizes. Nick put everything else fun away. I only have this one thing. You didn't leave anything out.
Oh.
But we got some really great prizes. Everybody's getting, like, Shanghai stuff, including, like, this Tron Light Cycle Power Run attraction mug. Look at that. Ooh. The coolest part, yes. It comes with its own coaster, which is the identity disc.
Love it.
It's amazing. Ooh. We've got all sorts of plush from Shanghai. We got Post-its and notebooks and all kinds of grand opening stuff. It's really cool stuff. We figured it's something many of you probably don't have, and we didn't want to just send you guys Florida or California stuff again because by now most of you probably. So something a little different. We got some really cool Shanghai stuff, and then you guys will be getting some. Those of you who win will be getting some WDWNT swag as well. We got lanyards.
Yep.
Fun stuff like that.
Still got Post-it notes.
Oh yeah, we got Post-it notes.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. There we go. But you might get Shanghai Post-it notes too. You get all kinds of Post-it notes. What an exciting tournament where you could win several varieties of Post-it notes. That's why so many of you signed on to play. I'm in it for the Post-it notes.
Don't forget the erasers.
In fairness, Post-it notes are more than players in the NCAA tournament get. So you should be happy.
That's very true.
Although management in the NCAA can buy a lot of Post-it notes. So anyway, we're going to begin this thing without any social commentary on actual March Madness. And yeah, so we are on in the tournament. Jason, we had the brackets. We pulled the brackets for everybody.
We got them.
We're going to get right into this. We're gonna knock out this Swell 16 round and get things rocking. The number to call for those of you playing along, you're going to need that. Make sure you have that number. What is it? Registration number? What do we call it?
The vote validation code.
Vote validation code. Make sure you have your VVC readily available when you call in. And yeah, and if you're calling in from Africa, again, thank you. That guy was really in Africa. He was a listener.
Oh, you see, you didn't believe
He was a
me.
listener who signed up.
Yeah.
And I guess went for vacation or work to Africa and then stayed up to listen to us.
There you go.
He wants to win. That's great. Thank you so much.
You made fun of me for believing him.
Well, if anyone called in on any station and told you they were in Africa, would you believe them?
In fairness, I can see how that would be difficult to believe.
I mean, in fairness, but they were afterwards were like, I'm really in Africa, and I stayed up late to listen. And
Awesome.
yeah, it was really neat. So anyway, Jason, the brackets, please. Maybe. Nope. All right. I'll do it. Maybe. I don't even see anything. Is that working?
Nope.
No.
Nope. That's
There's
right.
nothing.
We lost
there.
Jason.
We lost Jason. That's why. That's great.
Nope.
Everybody.
No way.
He's back now.
He's back now.
We lost Marcy.
We lost Marcy.
Okay.
We're having all kinds of problems.
She's rebooting. It's her computer. Marcy's not rebooting.
Marcy.
Just to clarify.
You know. Is Marcy? It was Marcy's maiden name Chapek.
Chapek, yes.
We know.
Ah. No wonder she doesn't like rides.
It's against her programming. So once we get people back, we'll get this thing started. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Fun. Fun thing. I'm gonna mention Wigs because we're in a delay. March Madness night, of course, is brought to you by Wigs. That's the WDWNT Interglobe Society. You can support WDWNT and get early and exclusive access to content you won't find anywhere else. In fact, last week we did a Serial 8, which I think was actually the best one we've done in a long time, and it's exclusive to Wigs members. So you should join so you can go back and watch that. I think it's really fun.
It was really good.
And that starts at just $2 a month. For $2 a month, you get 2 exclusive shows and Serial 8. So 3 in total, 3 shows that nobody else gets. You get even at the lowest level, and we do all sorts of really fun stuff beyond that too. So for more information, you go to patreon.com/WDWNT or visit WDWNT.com and click that Patreon link. Join the Wigs and help make WDWNT happen through Patreon. They're also going to be getting a preview of VR soon. We're still working on it. WDWNT VR preview, and they'll also have special registration and everything for our 2 upcoming events, Hollywood Studios Appreciation Day and Rec, which will be coming up soon. Jason is still not with us. Please bear with us, folks. This is the fun of doing a live program. I check with Jason. He wrote something to me. Oh, his internet went out for a moment. Okay, but he is coming back. So we will be getting underway here shortly, and we'll be beginning with the Swell 16 round. And tonight we're going all the way to the end, all the way until we have a champion, possibly the best attraction currently.
That we
Walt
are.
Disney World.
Tom, what about a Park Center plug? Since we got to fill some time.
Yeah, right after we go off the air, Park Center will be on tonight. They're on right after us, and they'll be recapping all the events of the evening and screaming about why we were wrong.
Yeah, it's fun to hear people tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah. So if you want
to tired and I get to watch people yell at why I'm wrong. It's fun.
there you go.
No, I
And then
actually like
also, I'm going to very quickly mention some upcoming shows real quick. Next Wednesday at 9 p.m., we're going Back to the Future Live. The Disney Monorail, the complete unadulterated history of Disney's monorails. Next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Make sure you join us for that on YouTube or here at WDWNtunes.com. And this Friday, don't miss the very first edition of it's WDWNT Game Night, and for the first time ever, Wheel of 4 Parks. Wheel of 4 Parks. It is our Wheel of Fortune ripoff, and it should be a lot of fun. They actually play tested it tonight. It worked out really well, and we're excited to start that on Friday. So if you want to play on Friday, we only have 3 spots, and you guys can win Shanghai stuff too. I love Shanghai stuff for those guys too. Yeah, so make sure you catch that at 9 p.m. on Friday. That is also on YouTube and here at WDWNtunes.com as well. So lots of cool stuff coming up. And Park Center, I don't know if they want me to say this yet or not, but Park Center is going to be a weekly show on Wednesdays starting April 4th as well. So we got lots of stuff. We got Walk in the Park probably debuting next week. We don't have a date yet, but our new show where we walk around the Disney parks and talk about fun facts and try food and go shopping and go on rides and do all sorts of fun stuff. We'll be starting next week. So. Jason, are you back?
I'm back.
Oh,
Great.
good.
Great. Nathan was going to try
material. I was going to do a corny joke about monorail doors. Thank God.
Yeah.
Saved
Anyway,
us all.
Jason, do you have those brackets now?
I have. It's up.
Okay.
It's up. Here it is.
I don't have them.
There we go.
There we go. All right. Is everybody's here now? Or Marcy and Dave actually here? Do we have them?
They maybe.
They want a private moment alone.
Fantastic.
As long as there's no collusion, we're fine.
There's not a collusion with them. They usually vote opposite.
I like how the person helping me with the game for Studios Appreciation Day literally just messaged me and go, when I completely forgot we should get started on that. I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's coming up. May 5th, Hollywood Studios Appreciation Day. It's a Saturday. Make sure you join us. There may be more to that. We're still waiting to hear back from people. There might be something special happening. We don't know yet. I don't want to get everybody's hopes up, but we're working on something that could be really amazing. So stay tuned for more.
And after hours walkthrough of Mickey's Runaway Railway.
I don't know if you want to walk through a big empty warehouse. That'd be fun. Speaking of big empty warehouses, Fast and the Furious Supercharged will open soon. So you ever wanted to go into a queue that looks like a warehouse on the outside, but then has no roof? Check out Fast and the Furious Supercharged. Opening soon.
Are we still trying to fill time here?
I don't know. Marcy and David have.
Marcy's back.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, there's Marcy.
David's not here yet.
I just want to point out we have 3 undefeated teams. It looks like still in the
that haven't lost.
Really?
Haven't lost a point.
Haven't lost a point. Yeah.
Who are those? Which one?
Mine Train.
Wow.
Pirates of the Caribbean and Flight of Passage.
Oh yeah, they haven't. Yeah, look at that. They have not given up a point yet.
Yeah,
that's exciting. Even Tower had a close match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we have Dave and Marcy now.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yay!
Okay. Sorry,
Okay.
my AirPods weren't working.
All right. Well, now that all that's figured out and it's 18 minutes late and Park Center guys are probably really mad, let's begin.
Sorry.
Let's begin the Swell 16 round, shall we? Jason, give me those brackets. Let's begin the madness again. Remember the number to call. Make sure you have that VVC, that validation code handy if you're going to call in to sway the vote. And you're going to call 407-774-8255. Right, we got the number 1 seed, the Haunted Mansion, versus the number 5 seed, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Ashley, why don't you lead us off?
I gotta go Mine Train. As much as I like Haunted Mansion, Mine Train, in my opinion, is just barely the better attraction for the show scenes.
Wow. David?
I thought I was going to be the only one because I'm also going for Mine Train. I think in its current state, Haunted Mansion, I don't think deserves to go too much farther in this tournament. I think Mine Train does an excellent job of combining, a light roller coaster with some more traditional dark ride scenes, sort of. And then the scene at the end is a great tribute to the movie. So I'm going to go with the one in the middle of Fantasyland.
Jason?
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So, I'm gonna go with Haunted Mansion. Mine Train's good. Haunted Mansion's sort of classic. I think.
Sort of classic. Haunted Mansion, sort of classic.
Well, all right. Mine Train's not classic.
It goes Heimlich's roller
Not yet.
coaster. Then
Too soon. Too soon.
Oh.
I'm not ready to lose my little Heimlich.
Oh.
Anyway, it sounded really wrong. Marcy, why don't you go ahead?
I'm also going with Mine Train because
Wow.
it's been no secret that I'm not a huge Haunted Mansion fan. I mean, I do definitely appreciate it for the classic it is, But as far as what I would prefer to ride and what I enjoy more, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is definitely the right choice for me.
Wow. Nathan.
For me, it's gonna go Haunted Mansion because I love Seven Dwarfs. Don't get me wrong, but Seven Dwarfs is, I don't know, a fourth of the length of Haunted Mansion. It's pretty quick, and the queue, though it's good, is not enrapturing the way Haunted Mansion is from start to finish. I almost count Haunted Mansion's queue as a part of the entire effect. It all works for me. Haunted Mansion.
Nick.
Well, he did bring up my one problem with Mine Train. It is a short coaster.
Yeah.
But I do love the queue. You get the interactive elements, and those show scenes are great. I do have an affinity for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs as well. That property. I can't vote for Haunted Mansion just because it's a classic. As great as it is, I kind of always tend towards the new technology and what's the latest. And Haunted Mansion hasn't had any updates that blow me away recently. If they did something like that to update it, I'd vote for them.
Or
But I
if that
can't.
new ending scene actually.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say,
Honestly,
yeah, the updates don't work.
Right, exactly. So I'm going Mine Train.
Wow. I'm going with the Haunted Mansion. I love Mine Train, but I'm not. This is the best version of Mansion that exists. I'm not letting it go down to Mine Train. And I love Mine Train. I think it's so perfect at what it does, but what it is can't be Haunted Mansion. It can't be this e-ticket, blockbuster that forever changed what theme parks are. So I have to go with Mansion. What is the score on that one?
The Mine Train wins.
Wow. Yeah.
12-9.
Yeah.
Oh, because
Mine Train is up 12-9. Obviously, that could be swayed, and I fully expect it to be swayed.
That's kind of an upset.
Several times back and forth, probably tonight. But 12-9 Mine Train as of right now. That is an upset if it sticks. That's a 5 seed over a 1 seed. Mansion also won this tournament when we did it a couple years ago, so it's a really big deal. Mine Train didn't exist back then.
Nope.
All right. Well, we're gonna go. Obviously, you people can call, but we're gonna keep moving on. We're going to go on to our next matchup, which is going to be Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress versus Sauron Around the World. Nick, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, I can't. So, Soren, no. Carousel of Progress for sure.
That's one for Carousel. Nathan.
Carousel. I love Soren, but Soren's in the end sort of a movie. Carousel's like the attraction moves, you move, and there's like scenes, and it's like a complex, interesting narrative. So yeah, Carousel.
Marcy.
I am definitely going with Carousel of Progress.
Wow.
It is my favorite attraction in Walt Disney World.
Jason.
I think we found our Cinderella story for this tournament because I'm going with Carousel of Progress.
David.
Yeah, I'm surprised how far Carousel of Progress has gotten. If this was facing any other attraction that's still on the list other than Soarin', I probably wouldn't vote for it. But I'm going to have to vote for it because, I think, as was stated, Soarin' is still just a movie. Yes, it has some seat effects and things like that, but it is just a movie at this point. So let's go with Carousel.
Ashley.
Yeah, Soarin' lost some of its enjoyability, I guess, for lack of a better word, with the update. I still like it. I still enjoy it. I know people who come to the park still love it. It's still the only attraction I know of that gets applause, which Carousel doesn't. But Carousel does have
one in Carousel.
But Carousel has a timeless charm, and I can't vote against it for Soarin', not with the weird leaning tower and all the issues that it has.
So, fun anecdote. Sauron, the original Sauron, I went on a number of times around the time it first opened. First couple of years, I'd say I had 30 or so rides on it. And I never row requested. I just always got the top. Always got the front row. And I loved Sauron. I really enjoyed it. Then finally one day I got row 2, and I was like, oh. I went in the second row, and I sat there, and it went up It might have even been the third row. I don't know where I was sitting, but not the top. And it goes up, and I'm watching the screen. I'm looking at it. I go, wait, you can like clearly see the edges. This isn't like immersive at all down here. Why do people enjoy this at this level? Like, I wouldn't ride this again if this was my first experience. And so from that point on, I had to row request the top because I didn't think Sauron already. I only thought was just a fun novelty. It was cute, but sitting at anywhere else but the top row, I hated it. Then this one debuted, and now if you sit on the top on the sides, everything's totally bent.
Yeah.
So now I can only sit in the middle of the whole theater on the top row and have an enjoyable experience. And I still don't think it's even that great. The music's still fantastic, and some of the visuals are really fun, but I can't go for an attraction that only has 6 seats where it looks good. I'm not. What is this, Gringotts? I'm not going with this. It's only better than Gringotts in that there's not like a pole in the vehicle in front of you, in front of like a character's face.
Yeah, I miss all the little things in the old Soaring, like the guy who would fall.
What is Soaring? I've never heard of that.
Ha ha ha.
It's the popular, trendy, classy one.
Yep. But I miss all the little things, like the guy who's skiing or snowboarding or whatever it was. He would come over the hill and fall.
Yeah.
The golf ball coming at you. Just all those little things that I don't even know
all
if
the
they
impending danger.
Well, it was just the little things that you didn't notice the first time, but the more you wrote it, you started
things that
to
were subtle,
notice
and like
the
a
little
plane in
things.
your face, a bird in your face, dirt in your face. They should just call this. I can't even say it on the air. I almost said it. They should call this stuff in your face. That should be the name of the ride. I call it something else. It's not good for hair, usually. Stuff in your face, the ride. Enjoy.
And let's not forget the music was better in the old one too.
It was.
It was better, but I do
arguable,
still
but
like
yeah.
this music. I mean, it's still good music.
Yeah.
So is that a 21-0 for Carousel of Progress?
That is a
Blowout.
20.
I want to see you guys
Yep.
sway that one at home. 21-0 blowout of Sauron. What an upset. Carousel of Progress probably moving on. All right, on to our next matchup. It is Frozen Ever After versus Space Mountain. Frozen Ever After versus Space Mountain. Ashley, why don't you lead this off?
I enjoy them both. I have to give the edge to Space just because I enjoy it so much. I know Frozen, they're both good in their own ways, but I'm going Space.
David.
I have a really hard time with this one. They're very, very close. You know, Space Mountain, it's a classic. It was the first Space Mountain. It's the traditional one that everyone thinks about, but I don't enjoy it anymore. So Frozen has some great animatronics. So I think I'm going to go with the animatronics in this one and go with Frozen.
Jason.
This one, I'm kind of where David is with this. I don't like this version of Space Mountain. I said this last week and probably the week before. I don't really like this version. The Disneyland version to me is much better. I know this was the original, but oh well. So I'm going to go with Frozen.
Marcy.
So, growing up going to Disney, there are several things that I remember. There are smells and sounds and different things that you remember going with your parents, and it really kind of imprints something on you. And for me, even though now as an adult, I don't really enjoy a lot of thrill rides, walking through the Space Mountain queue, hearing the background music, just being in the dark and seeing the stars on the ceiling and the different projections, and then coming through the conveyor belt thing on the way out and seeing all those different scenes, it really brings me back to when I was young, and it was the first real roller coaster that I ever went on. So that being said, I have to vote for Space Mountain because of all that means to me. If I was just coming to Walt Disney World and I had never been there before and I rode Space Mountain and I rode Frozen, I would pick Frozen. But I'm voting for Space.
Nathan.
I'm gonna try to my best to strip away all my nostalgia for Space Mountain and sort of think about this. And for me, the question has to come into my mind of what is going to be around in 25 years. And I think there will be a variation, especially if Tron's going to be right next to it. There'll be some new variation on Space Mountain. But Space Mountain as a concept, I think, will last. Frozen, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be there in 25 years. And it's a great ride, and I think it's well themed and has great animatronics. But I think that the experience I get, the immersiveness I get on Space Mountain is not beat by Frozen. So I'm going to go with Space Mountain. I enjoy it from end to end. So,
Nick.
One of the reasons why I definitely think Frozen will be around in 25 years is because you're going to get a whole generation that grows up and is nostalgic for that film and is going to want to go.
They don't ruin it with the sequel
and take their kids to the attraction. This is kind of going along the way I've been voting and thinking here. I voted against Space Mountain, I think, every time, and I voted for Frozen Ever After. And I'm going to continue to do that here. And one of the other reasons is just because I used to love Space Mountain to death, but again, I kind of in the moment like the new stuff and new technology, and Frozen's show scenes are mind blowing. I love them. So.
The reason that Frozen's going to be around in 25 years is because they have so much money to spend on Epcot on things that need it, and they're going to run out of money before they get to Frozen.
Yeah.
Well, at least the boat system will remain, because God knows they never want to tear that down. The Maelstrom layout will outlive all of us. This is incredibly difficult, because on one hand you have Space Mountain, which is revolutionary. Coaster in the dark, it's dual track, it's massive. The queue is amazing. The exit's amazing. So much of that I could say for Frozen too, though. I think they did such a good job with the queue, the music, and like doing original versions of all the songs from the movie and not just recycling stuff. The animatronics and the scenes are so charming and well laid out. But space is this is such a problem, because you have this new thing that's really fantastic and this old thing that's really fantastic. And I don't think a thing being new or a thing being old is really the reason why either one should lose. What's the score on this?
It's tied. You're the tiebreaker.
It's great. Great.
Let me guess, you're not ready to vote?
No. Oh, excuse me. No, we don't want to vote. We wants the rum. Let's go with. I think I got to go with space. For its
Yes.
notoriety. Like, everybody on Earth knows what Space Mountain is, and I think as great as Frozen is, I think because they're even, I have to go with what means more to everyone, and I think it's space. There's so many people who haven't even been on Frozen. There are so many people in this world who've been on Space Mountain. I got to go with Space Mountain. It's the one that started it all. Just because of that's got to be the tiebreaker. I think quality-wise, they're even.
RCA leads the way, baby.
There you go. That hurts because I love Frozen, but yeah. So what is that? That's a 12-9?
That's a 12-9.
So that could be easily swayed. I don't expect that to stay. All right. No?
What?
Did people call?
I don't know.
You don't know?
You would be the
Before
one
you
to know,
interrupt
Nick.
me, why don't you just hit it? Go ahead.
No, go on to the next matchup.
All right, the next matchup is big. I'm glad I have a ceramic mug in here to throw it at you. Go ahead.
We have two votes. They're both for the same attraction. They're both for Haunted Mansion.
Wow.
Ooh.
So what is that? 13-12 now, Mansion?
Yep.
All right, that's now 13-12 Mansion over Mine Train. So that has changed. Mansion, as of right now, moving on to the next round. Well, until right now. that calls probably for Mine Train. We're going to move on in the meanwhile, though. And our next matchup is going to be the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad versus Pirates of the Caribbean. Let's start. Nick's on the phone. Nathan, why don't we start with you?
This is hard. And I actually, honestly, my opinion is not swayed much by new scenes or anything at this point. I think it's going to have to go with Big Thunder for me. Big Thunder is an attraction that it feels sort of it's not, but it feels like one of the last of the pre-IPs. It has this very Western vibe. It's kinetic. There's so much to now do in the queue. I think there are elements from the other parks, such as the Dynamite, that would be great to have in the WDW one, but at the same time, I think it's a really good coaster. I have a lot of fun when I'm on it. The thing for me about Big Thunder is I'm always sad when I get to the end of it because I always want it to be longer. I love bouncing back and forth in those seats. I like feeling like I'm about to fly out. And yeah, I just really, really love that coaster. And as much as I think Pirates is, a revolutionary ride and has done a lot, it has been, I'm not even talking about new scenes. It's just been weakened because of Johnny Depp stuff already. And for me, it's lost a little bit of its luster since that transformation. So I'm going to go with Big Thunder.
Nick.
I love Big Thunder. It's even more so than just the track itself. It's just an awesome part of the park. I love going over there, and I it's such a dramatic piece of the landscape. And Pirates of the Caribbean, I don't know how much the new show scene is swaying me. It's pretty bad. What worries me most is if this is what they're going to do to update this attraction, what about future updates to the attraction? Like, what is going to happen to this thing? Big Thunder is just a truly enjoyable experience. So I'm going to put my vote towards Big Thunder.
Yeah, it's only offensive to dead dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So it should be okay.
And they're dead.
Marcy, go ahead.
Okay, so if this had been like last month, I would have voted for Pirates, but since I've seen the new scene with the redhead now as the pirate, I have to vote for Big Thunder because I really don't like that scene the way it is now. I don't like the dialogue. I don't like the type of pirate that they made her. I feel like she could have been a much more fierce woman. I don't think
she's like the Trix rabbit. Like, no, you silly auctioneer, they wants the rum. It's magically delicious.
It's so dumb.
She's an Irish accent for no reason. I'm not even getting into it.
And honestly, this has absolutely nothing to do with taking the scene out on its own. I completely understand where people are coming from when they say that it was offensive to them. And it didn't really bother me so much, but I don't have a lot of experience with human trafficking. So obviously if you're
That's a good thing.
Wait a minute. No, just listen to me for 1 second.
Go ahead.
I'm not trying to be offensive. What I'm saying
things you don't say.
The idea of Marcy being involved in human trafficking I don't know anyone was thinking that.
No, what I'm saying is that if I had experience, if I knew somebody who was personally affected by that, then I would feel much more strongly about that scene having been changed. But I don't, and when I was a child, that never even crossed my mind. So I don't really think it's affecting children that way. But I do understand where people are coming from. So I'm not like furious that it was changed. But the way that it was changed, it just wasn't done with any sort of finesse. I don't know. I don't like it. So I'm going to vote for Big Thunder. And I do really love how Big Thunder looks at night. It is gorgeous with the lighting and everything. It's really fun to ride at night. So that's another reason why I'm voting for Big Thunder.
Jason.
Marcy, do you ride Big Thunder?
Sometimes.
Okay, good. Then I can vote for Big Thunder.
Oh man, this is rough.
They ruined Pirates. I'm like furious at how poor the new scene was implemented. And this has nothing to do with whether they should have changed the scene or not. The fact that they changed it, I didn't like the fact that they changed it, but I'm not basing my
made
vote
it
on the
worse
fact
by
that
doing
they
a
changed
poor
it.
job.
They did a terrible job.
Regardless, if they were, I understand if your boss came in and said you have to change this. Like you've been given a task, that's your job. You do your job. I understand that.
But they did
I
a
don't
terrible
appreciate
job.
the job that they did.
No. And I mean, did they think that putting in like a new animatronic that moves very nicely was going to make it better?
Define nicely.
Well, it moves reasonably
all
well.
over the place.
I don't know. Moves more than the redhead did in the past.
Well, yeah, I mean, the old redhead figure was a rod. It was a rod with a dress over it. So, yeah. I mean, you could have beaten that with a talking Furby from Toys R Us. Now on sale. So, David, go ahead.
Okay. So I understand all the hate for Pirates. I like Big Thunder, but even if they would have put black screens across the entire auction scene, even if they had cut the soundtrack out completely and replaced it with a record scratch, even if they'd replaced Jack Sparrow with the Furby from Toys R Us, it would still be Pirates of the Caribbean every other part of that attraction, and I would have still enjoyed it, and I would still like it better than Big Thunder. So I'm putting my vote for Pirates.
I just can't help but think of like a Furby sitting in the chair at the end. Scene.
Yeah.
Like
And
talking to the
popping-
parrot.
And a Furby popping out of the barrel.
A Furby would probably act better than Johnny Depp did in that last scene,
Ooh.
dialogue-wise. So
They wants the Furby. Ashley, go ahead.
A lot of people have already said it. I will candidly admit that the new scene is affecting my vote and how I would have voted 2 weeks ago with it being closed versus how I'm voting now. Everybody said it. They did a terrible job. They could have made it so much better. Plug for the podcast. There was a far better suggestion made on the podcast of how they could have even kept the dialogue. And they didn't, I don't know if they didn't care.
Erase Paul Frees, no big deal.
Yeah, it's fine.
yeah, I'm more offended by
no
that.
history. Yeah. No, taking the time to
They
figure out
literally
how to
had a
keep it.
line, corn-fed she be, which could have worked for chickens.
And they didn't.
And they decided, even if re-recorded, they decided, let's not bother.
No. To even keep the dialogue. No.
Ridiculous.
So whatever. So I am going with Big Thunder. I love it. It's a great roller coaster. They haven't jacked it up. They've enhanced it with the queue, which actually, admittedly, for the first time a couple weeks ago, I finally hit it so that there was enough of a wait where I actually got to play with some of the things. I mean, my sister had a great time sitting there messing with everything. So I really enjoy
like
it.
blowing
So,
stuff up.
um,
We should have interactive queue where I get to do that to the auction scene.
now
I'm-
that
I'm-
might get my vote back to
Damn.
Pirates.
I'm with
Blow up
David.
the grandfather clock.
They should have just pulled a end of Spaceship Earth and put black tarps over the entire scene.
And you could
Done with
pick
it.
That
whatever
would
scene
have
you
gone
want.
better.
That's
And
right.
you're in it.
Yeah!
Close your eyes and
Give me a
imagine.
little-
Yeah.
Little screen in the vote
That's
because
what
that
they did
was
with
was
that
weird
great-
at
Where
all.
was the Spaceship Earth team on this project?
Exactly.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if the redhead
Exactly.
sounded like Judi Dench, but that's just me.
Do you As a pirate, do you prefer pillaging or raping?
Do you,
Oh God, that's all I'm
do
gonna
you like
hear.
chickens like the Phoenicians? They invented them.
No, they domesticated them.
The Phoenicians invented rum. Joy.
We invented
We
chickens.
want the alphabet. Anyway. All of these, by the way, are better auction scenes than what's there now.
It's
Gonna be
true.
a long
Um,
night, people.
You know, I think everybody by now knows how I feel. I think I've made it very well known at this point. I'm still picking Pirates. Because I've never
Really?
connected with Big Thunder. I don't get why people like Big Thunder. It's beautiful and I love Tumbleweed. But other than that, I could do without riding Big Thunder. I don't find it thrilling or fun. It was never like the thing. Growing up, Pirates was our thing as a family. We weren't like My mother didn't go on thrill rides. We all went on Pirates. It was everybody in the family's favorite thing. I still think even with the change, Big Thunder still doesn't do anything for me. So even with the horrendous change, I still like Pirates better. Unfortunately, I'd love to sit here and not pick Pirates, but I'm not giving Big Thunder the satisfaction. So there you go.
Well, we won anyway, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
you did. What is that? 15-6.
That's right.
15-6. Big Thunder Mountain over Pirates, and here comes Nick to ruin it.
Well,
like a Pirates refurb.
let's see, we got 4.
You're the Pirates refurb of my life, Nick.
Aw, that's a bit harsh.
Wow.
I'm joking. You're like the Spaceship Earthman.
It's a weird Valentine.
That
4 votes here.
Wow.
All right, so let's see. We have a vote for Frozen Ever After.
Ooh.
Oh.
We have another vote for Frozen Ever After.
Wow.
ooh.
We have a third vote for Frozen Ever After.
Wow.
Darn it, people.
I'm taking crazy pills over here. What's going on?
What's the fourth vote?
Mine Train.
Oh, wow. So, all right. So 2 outcomes have changed now, ladies and gentlemen. That's 14-13. That's Mine Train again now over the Haunted Mansion. That's 12-15. Now Frozen Ever After winning that
Wow.
match. Wow. So, yeah, quick update. 14-13 Mine Train over Mansion. 21-0 Carousel of Progress over Sauron. 15-12 Frozen over Space. 15-6 Big Thunder over Pirates of the Caribbean. We're going to move on. We're going to go on to our next matchup, which is... Oh, we're not.
No, you're not, because we just got a vote in for Pirates of the Caribbean.
There you go. So that's 15-8. 15-8 now, Big Thunder over Pirates of the Caribbean. So I guess that's not over just yet. It's going to need a lot of votes, but it's not over just yet. All right, now we're going to move on. Over to the other side of the tournament, going to the Hollywood Studios Conference. We got the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror versus Star Tours. The adventures continue. Literally half the rides in the park battling it out right now. So only one ride in the park can remain.
Wow, that's good.
It's almost like what almost happened to the park. So what's it going to be, Tower or Star Tours? Let's start with Ashley.
Theming, story, just the overall attraction experience. It's got to go to Tower.
David.
These next 4 matchups are extremely tough, and this is by far the toughest of all of them. You know what? I've gone back and forth on this since last week. I'm going to go with Twilight Zone Tower of Terror for the reasons that Ashley said, I think. I love Star Tours, though, but we'll go with Tower.
Jason.
I'm going to go with Tower. I think it's a better attraction all around.
Marcy.
I think definitely Tower was a game changer for that park, and I love the theming as well for 1930s Hollywood, so I'm going with Tower.
Nathan.
I think Star Tours is really good for using kind of a concept, the simulator that it was not created necessarily by Imagineering. And I love randomization. I wish more of the park did randomization. It brings some life into some things. At the same time, though, Twilight Zone is like its own. I mean, you're in a thing, and it moves from one elevator to the other and goes up and down a bunch. Yeah, that's an entirely crazy idea.
And it has randomization.
Marcy made a valid point that both have randomization.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They both do.
Star Tours is a little more intense because it's a whole different film sequence, but nonetheless, randomization.
Right. I just think that one is created with an idea of technology that already exists at that time and advances it in some way, and the other one is completely its own thing. I mean, Tower.
One is Otis Elevator telling you we can't do that.
Right,
Imagineering
absolutely.
Saying, we'll figure it out. We'll get back to you.
Right. And the fact that, I mean, for me, it comes to all those stars crystallizing into one line and opening that door. It still wows me every time. So for me, that's where it goes.
Nick.
Star Tours.
Wow.
I
Really?
I just again, I've just never been a huge fan of Tower. I don't think I haven't voted for it yet. I get it. I get what it is, but that's not what I'm voting for here. I'm voting for what I enjoy in a ride experience, and it's definitely Star Tours. If Star Tours doesn't change throughout the years, if it's still the old Star Tours, or if they're not updating it with new show scenes, maybe I might go Tower. But they keep refreshing this attraction, and it gets better and better. And so Star Tours.
These are both like children to me. In a park that I love more than any other park on this planet. Star Tours is emotionally important to me. It's the only reason I like Star Wars to begin with. I was introduced to it through Star Tours. So that means a lot. But Tower is so special to that park. And it's in a lot of ways it's the last vestige of its identity. And I think Nathan said it. I think the defining thing is that Star Tours was taking something that never been used for a ride and using it, and Twilight Zone was figuring out something that didn't exist and making it happen. And the theme, I think the reason Star Tours has to lose is just it's incoherent. It's a great attraction, but at this point it's so incoherent where the scenes are spanning somehow so many years. And then even like in the current version, Poe Dameron comes in and goes, 3PO, R2D2, what are you doing here? That's a great question. They're on crate in the wall, but somehow they're in the Star Speeder. Who knows what's going on?
Who cares?
They're the only people with actual lasers. They shot down a walker, which they couldn't even do in the movie in that scene.
Awesome.
Why didn't they stay? We'll take it from here. They have guns. Keep them there. It makes no sense. Yeah,
they fix the timelines. They fix the timeline.
It's less a story, more a sizzle reel.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Tower, what is it, 18-3? 18-3 Tower of Terror over Star Tours. I love them both, but it's got to be Tower. On to our next matchup. That is going to be Expedition Everest versus Kilimanjaro Safaris. The battle for Animal Kingdom is on, Mr. LeCicero.
I'm voting for Everest. I never really understood the hate of this roller coaster.
Wow.
I really enjoy it. And
The ride that almost lost to Winnie the Pooh 2 rounds ago.
I know, it's crazy. No, but I really, really enjoy it. I know, I get the whole Yeti thing, but I think it's super fun. And Kilimanjaro Safaris is great, but for enjoyability, I mean, if you told me I go on one attraction or the other, Animal Kingdom, it'd be Everest.
The real question is, which one can you ride 10 times in a row?
No, the real question is, which one would Marcy ride?
7 times for Everest. On the 8th time, I actually did vomit.
Nathan.
This was tougher than some would think because I'm a pretty big Everest guy. And I really, really appreciate what Kilimanjaro does. And I think that it's better now, as I mentioned before, than it was in the past because I think the storyline muddied things up. At the same time, it's a long ride, and sometimes you see great things, and sometimes you don't. And if you go at night, it's not worth it at all. Where on the opposite end, literally my favorite thing to do in all of Disney World right now is to go when Rivers of Light is going on and just ride and ride and ride Everest
and not
over.
Go see Rivers.
Well,
that's my favorite thing to do too.
Yeah, get to see it from the air, which actually looks pretty cool. You just go on, and it's a great time. I really love it. And yes, it has issues, but that the queue is still fun. As much as I think that it is not the best it has ever been, clearly, it is still a gobsmacking view of all of Disney World. And also just one of my favorite things to do. So it's going to go for Everest for me.
Marcy.
So Everest is actually a really fun roller coaster. I think when the Yeti was working, it was nothing like I've ever experienced. I mean, it was incredible to see that huge animatronic swinging. Going backwards is fun. I really love the view that you get of Epcot and everything in the distance. But it's not something that we can really enjoy as a family. The 4 of us, we go on the safari every time we go to Animal Kingdom. My kids still have yet to go on Everest just because it scares them. So I'm going to have to go with Kilimanjaro Safari. And last time we went, the lions were actually awake, which was incredibly cool. So I love animals. My kids love animals, and it's a much more family friendly attraction. So I'm going to go with that.
Who doesn't love animals? Jason.
I don't really love animals.
You are the worst human being. The worst. I don't really like you. Could you go? Don't get this over with.
So wait, so Marcy voted for safaris, but she goes on Everest, or not really anymore?
I go on Everest, but I have to be in the mood. I have to like prepare myself. You know,
Right.
it's like a thing.
So it's a big hassle to get you to go on Everest.
But she rides it.
I do ride it
But
though.
she does. I don't really like animals, so I'm gonna vote for safaris.
Wait,
Wait.
I'm very confused. Right now.
I honestly, the animals are cool. I'm not as awestruck by the animals as most other people are. Like my wife and kids absolutely love the safaris. I go on it. The animals are neat. If I see an animal doing something that I've never seen before, that's kind of neat. But there's only so many times I can go on that ride and look at the hippos in the water, and it just doesn't impress me anymore because it's the same hippos in the same position in the same
There's a
water.
baby one now, you heartless.
Well, so that's what would impress me. Like that would be cool. I'd go on it to see the baby hippo, and that's probably the only thing that's the only animal that I would actually look forward to seeing on that ride. Everything else is kind of like, okay. That being said, I think Everest is embarrassing that the Yeti doesn't do anything. And I used to think going backwards was cool, but now it's sort of headache inducing to me. If the Yeti was fixed, I'd probably vote for Everest. Like if it was opening year and the Yeti was working, that, as Marcy said, is really one of the most amazing things. But it's not, and it's been not working for so long. It's almost like they're resigned to settling for second best or something. And if Imagineering is resigned to settling for the terrible,
it seems to be the theme of the week.
yeah, well, it is, right? And so if Imagineering is resigned to settling
Yeti for a penny,
then Everest should be resigned to settling for second best and lose to safaris. So I'm going to vote for safaris.
David.
So I like Everest. I've been voting for it, but in my mind, Kilimanjaro is in some ways the heart of the park. It's Animal Kingdom. You're there to see animals. To Nathan's point, I really like what they've done with the safari. They've taken out the manufactured drama and they put the focus where it should be on the live animals. They don't even do the stupid bridge anymore, which I like. So the last
on again, off again.
sometimes.
is it okay? I prefer it when it's off. I just, the last time I went on it, the focus was all on the animals, and that's what I really enjoyed. And I'm going to continue to vote for safaris in this round.
Yeah, your shirt kind of convinced us of that, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Ashley.
So Tower and Star Tours were your children. These two rides are my children. I went on Everest. My very first trip to Walt Disney World was Everest opening summer. And so I did get to see it when it worked, which has played a huge part, I think, even still in why I love it so much. But there's something great about the safaris. And like everybody said, it's the heart of the park. Animal Kingdom probably wouldn't exist if not for the safaris. It ties all the way back to Jungle Cruise. You see something different every time. Unlike Jungle Cruise, I've never really, and I know they exist, but I've been fortunate that I've never really had a bad safari ride when it comes to the drivers.
Have you done the night safari?
I've done the night safari, and I don't blame them. They try really hard to still
Those
make
hippo
it
speakers in the trees try really hard.
No, but the drivers try. Like
They had to. There was nothing to see.
Yeah, they know, and so I don't blame
nothing but
them
the
for that.
jumbotron up in the trees.
And I've always had really great, sometimes funny. I think they do still have a little bit of freedom, probably just because it's harder to tell if they go off script and ad lib things. So I'm going Safari. As much as I love them both, it's Safari.
Surprise, I'm picking Safari. Everest is garbage. It's a beautiful queue. The inside, there's always lights on, so you're going through the mountain. It's real believable. You go to a cavern and you can see like netting and pipes and metal. And yeah, great show. There's no mist in the tunnel. The bird doesn't work. There's girls shooting hair bands all over the mountain. There's a Yeti that doesn't move.
Who started the ponytail holder thing? Because I
Probably
don't appreciate
Joe
that.
It was actually an earring shot. By the way, Joe Rohde's against March Madness. You shouldn't compare attractions ever.
Sure, that's what he said.
It's art. They all do their job.
Well, we can't all be Joe.
They don't all do their job. That's part of the problem of why we debate them.
Anyway, for the rest of us who like fun,
Yeah.
Kilimanjaro Safari. Kilimanjaro Safaris, but what's the score there? It's a 12-9?
No, it's 15-6.
15-6. All right, what'd you ruin?
We have a few votes in, all for different attractions.
Okay.
Here we go. We have a vote for Star Tours.
18-5.
We have a vote for Haunted Mansion.
Mansion is in the lead again, 15-14.
We have a vote for Sauron.
21-2. Oh boy. Mansion. So that changes. Mansion is the winner now. This round is quickly coming to a close. So 407-774-8255. If you have that a vote available, you need to use that. Mansion and Mine Train's going back and forth. All right, on to our next matchup. The Avatar Flight of Passage versus Muppet Vision 3D. Let's make this quick and painful. Problem. Poor Muppets. Nick, go ahead.
Wow. Okay. No, this is my toughest one.
Are you serious?
Of this entire round.
Wow.
Yes. I mean, the only reason I didn't vote for Muppet Vision 3D, I mean, Spaceship Earth is just one of my favorite Disney attractions of all time, and it was hard to vote against it. But I mean, Muppet Vision 3D, I mean, everybody made such an amazing case for it last time. And so it's funny that I get it.
Yeah, but it's up against,
Right. And that's what honestly it comes down to. Like
Kermit's arms are too short to box with God is the problem.
It is. There's so much fantastic about this attraction even today, but I do, like I said, I'm wowed by the new and the cool and the interesting, and that is Flight of Passage. And so, unfortunately, yes, I have to say goodbye to Muppets here. My vote's for Flight of Passage.
Nathan,
I don't like this one. It's really tough for me actually too. I really love Muppets. I think it's probably, as I said, the best show, a theater show they've got going on. There's so much different stuff that happens. This might be my favorite queue pre-show video versus one of my least favorite pre-show videos.
Oh yeah.
And I'll see you.
Fly. And so that's an issue for me. I'm so unhappy about this.
Please hold. We're looking into delays in the genetic matching system.
I know. Right? Please hold. You know what? You know what? Muppet Vision makes me happier than Flight of Passage. I'm going Muppet Vision. Here's the thing. I love Flight of Passage. I think it's beautiful and I enjoy it. But every time I'm on the ride, when I'm doing the ride, I feel like, wow, this has been fun. When I leave Muppets, I'm always grinning. I'm always pleased. I know that show by heart, and it still makes me laugh. It is Henson's final thing, and it is really well conceived. It is the Muppets that I want, and it's the Muppets that we don't necessarily get anymore these days. Whereas for me, Flight of Passage is very much here's a person you don't know in a land you don't really understand, from a movie you don't really remember. Now let me give you an amazing thing about it. But it doesn't resonate. Again, I think it's amazing traction. I'm not trying to say that, but you know what? I got to go with my heart. What's the point of this whole thing if we don't go with what we think is, in our hearts, sort of the better of the two? I'm going to go with Muppet Vision.
Marcy.
So the outdoor portion of the Flight of Passage queue is probably one of the most beautiful scenery that of any queue I've ever seen.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it's just
gorgeous.
incredible. The indoor queue is very interesting and very cool. It would make a very long wait go by faster, which is a very good thing. It's a very cool ride. Riding it for me is stressful, so I'm gonna go with Muppets.
Wow. Jason.
Well, I mean, if Marcy doesn't like to ride Flight of Passage, then and I don't really like animals. Are those things are banshees animals?
So you don't like
There's
fake
a
animals either?
Muppet called
Some of
Miss
the
Piggy.
Muppets are animals.
Yeah, well, see, and that's what
Fozzie
makes this
Bear.
really tough for me. That's what
Rizzo
makes
the
this really
rat.
You
tough
know,
for me.
none of the Muppets are keystone species, so let's just end this race.
I hate that the whole pre-show video in Avatar. I really do, but I think the ride is just amazing, and as much as I think the pre-show is terrible, the ride, I think, for me, makes up for it just enough to edge out Muppets. So I'm going to go with Avatar.
David.
Yeah, I get everything that everyone's saying about Muppet Vision, and I hope Kermit can forgive me, but I'll cop to recency bias, but Flight of Passage is a spectacular attraction, and it wins over Muppet Vision, but just barely.
Ashley.
It's tough. I think the only thing I've ever Disney related said more expletives about than when they announced Avatar was the Pirates update. I genuinely did not want to like Flight of Passage. I wanted it to be terrible just to justify that it was stupid to put that in instead of Beastly Kingdom. But I wrote it and it's wonderful and I enjoy it so much. At Disney, there's not much that will get me out of bed at 6 a.m. to try to rope drop. But if I can't get a fast pass, I will try to rope drop Flight of Passage. Muppet Vision is great. I enjoy it. I laugh every time. But like David said, maybe it's just because it's new and exciting, but I love it. And I got to vote for it. It's the better attraction.
Surprise, I'm picking Flight of Passage. I love the Muppets and I love Muppet Vision, but I think I'm going to work off the opposite of Nathan's point. I think it's way more impressive that a ride of this popularity exists based on something that no one cares about.
That's a fair point.
I think it is artistry that Imagineers took a franchise that people do not care about and made people care. I think that is artistry beyond taking something that people already loved and doing something. And the Muppets might be the greatest thing the Muppets are in ever. Like, it might be Henson's greatest work, but Flight of Passage is a technical marvel. It's beautiful. It changes so much about attractions. And the building, the queue, it's gorgeous. The storytelling, level of storytelling, unparalleled. And just, I've never an attraction that ends and so many people go, aw, sad that it's over. I've never heard that at another ride before. That happens every time I go on Flight of Passage. I hear those sad awes at the end of the ride. Happened yesterday, happened today. It's I think Flight of Passage far and away. What's the score?
15-6.
15-6, Flight of Passage. Boop, 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 boop. Go ahead. Beep, boop, boop, boop.
Can't ask for it.
That's what they tell you.
Oh boy!
Never mind.
Wow!
I'm gonna take a sip of this.
Oh boy!
Go ahead. I'm not starting until you do it.
We have a vote for Everest.
That's 15-8 Safaris. A little closer.
We have another vote for Everest.
That's 15-10 now.
Nick enjoys this way too much.
A little bit.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Final match of the swell. I deserve that. I knew it was coming.
We have a third vote for Everest.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
Ooh.
15-12 now.
Yep.
That is actually.
The Sherpas are coming back.
Come back, my Sherpas. Yeah, if you got a vote left, you know where to place that
Stop
flag.
it.
On top of Everest.
If
I
either
would
way,
not
it's
be
not
mad
beating
if that
Tower
one
next
flipped.
round anyway. Splash Mountain versus the People Mover. Nick, why don't you start us off? Splash Mountain versus the People.
In my head, this one's not even close. I mean, the People Mover's cool and endearing, love it. But Splash Mountain, I just love Splash Mountain. With all the animatronics, all the show scenes, it's a super fun ride. And again, kind of like Big Thunder, it dominates the landscape over there, and it's just a fun area.
Nathan.
Yeah, I love myself some People Mover in the night times. But here's the thing. It's not got a lot, it's supposed to show you the land. It's showing you what stuff you can do. And of course the Space Mountain passage is it's just always fun. I love it. It's not Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain has got like a gazillion animatronics, and
They should make a jumping lady in the getting her hair done.
yeah,
Animatronic to the People Mover. That'd be
spit water.
Jason's losing it. Jumping figure of the hair lady.
But yeah, I mean, Splash Mountain is clearly, it's a lot of things. It's a show. It's a story. It's a drop. It's great. So Splash for me.
Marcy.
I love Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain is in my top attractions of all of Walt Disney World. I have to vote for People Mover though, because it is so nice to be able to ride that when there's so many other lines and the park is just so crowded. You can pretty much get on it in under 10 minutes, no matter how crowded the park is. And just having the breeze in your face, and it's just so relaxing. It's just a nice way to just stop for a minute and enjoy where you are and what you're doing. Whereas, I love Splash Mountain, but it is a flume ride, and sometimes sometimes I don't want to get wet. Sometimes I don't really want to have that sick feeling in the pit of my stomach going down. I love the animatronics. I love the story, but I have to go with People Mover.
I love that Marcy said stop for a minute on the only continuously moving ride.
Well, you know what?
Slow down and just enjoy instead of being like, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to.
Right. It is the
So
only
stressful.
moving ride where you can put your feet up. If there's just two of you, it's the only moving ride you can put your feet up.
Sure, Jason.
This probably was the toughest matchup of this round for me. I love the People Mover. It's one of my favorite attractions anywhere. But Splash Mountain is so good. It really is so good. And it's amazing that People Mover beat Toy Story Mania, but even if it didn't, Splash Mountain would have handily beat Toy Story Mania anyway. So as much as I like People Mover, I think Splash Mountain really is, I think, a level of perfection that we don't get much of anymore out of Imagineering. So I'm going with Splash.
We wants the moonshine. David.
I understand everybody voting for Splash. I like Splash, but it was really close. But I decided if I went to Magic Kingdom and I could only do one attraction for some reason, it would actually be People Mover over Splash Mountain. So I'm going to go with that.
David, I'll make note now that this is the first time in the entire tournament that you and Marcy voted for the same attraction.
Are you serious?
That's amazing.
They both like
It is amazing.
Put the
The
feet
next time somebody says, "Why do you have a married couple?"
Because they
Because
like
They
the
don't
People
agree on
Mover.
anything.
There you go.
Ashley, go ahead.
People Mover is great. It's peaceful. Kinetic energy is wonderful. But Splash is, like Marcy said, it's one of my all-time favorites. I have to ride it every time. It for me, it brings back a lot of fun memories from college program. Me and my roommates would go at park close. If we were in Magic Kingdom at park close, we would go ride over and over and over again. And just run through the queue like we were kids because it was empty and it was one of the quiet places in the park, and just laugh our heads off like kids and enjoy Disney for what it is. And so I love it so much. One of my favorite still to this day, Back to the Futures, is our Splash Back to the Future.
Yeah.
It's what made me a WDWNT fan. Rackety Raccoon is still probably my favorite character that we have ever come up with.
We didn't come up with him. He existed.
Well, yeah,
We
okay. Gave
embellished
a
a little
voice
bit.
too.
And then they made it the redhead, basically. So I mean,
I guess we gave him a bigger, more fleshed out voice.
yeah.
Yeah.
And being from
Made him
Georgia,
an
I have to
alcoholic
go
like
with
every other
Splash
character.
and the
And he's still better
Moonshine.
than Typhoon
and-
Legume.
Yeah, so Splash it is.
Typhoon Legume is why you need to listen to Sierra Late. You do
Yep.
remember.
I will.
Typhoon Legume.
I also want to make mention that it's very interesting that Ashley talked about People Mover and how great it is to have kinetic energy, and then Splash Mountain is all about potential energy at the top of that hill.
Thanks for the
You would.
thanks for the science
nerds out
lesson,
there.
Dad. Thanks.
For the science nerds out there, yes.
You can't say you didn't learn something tonight.
That's right. Learn something every day.
Bill Nye wanted over a dinosaur. Okay.
Anyway, I'm going Splash. People Mover is wonderful, but it has no show. It doesn't really have show scenes. It doesn't have a story. Splash is an audio animatronics extravaganza, the likes of which doesn't really exist. It's also a fun thrill ride that most of the family usually enjoys. Fantastic music, great characters, beautiful queue, beautiful building. Splash. What's the score?
15-6.
15-6 for Splash. Oh boy, what happened?
We have 2 more votes in for Everest.
Wow. That changes it.
It does. That swings it.
Sherpa's hoe.
That's 15-16 Everest.
Wow.
I'm a little sad, but not angry about that upset.
Everest, I want to note, Everest has only moved on in any round of this tournament basically because of Collins.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's because people love it.
No,
Well,
it's just
no,
people got it.
Except for against the Barnstormer, but I think that Collins realized they didn't have a chance there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I would certainly
Well,
hope
Barnstormer just didn't matter.
No,
Is that it?
I
Nick?
would
Nick's
fight
on-
somebody.
He's
Nick's
like,
on the phone.
This round is going to end. I already did the commercial that was supposed to go after this round while all that stuff was going on. So this round's going to end in like a minute. So if you need to call in and change anything in this round, you have like a minute to call 407-774-8255. Call now, or this round's going to end.
We just got a vote for Safari.
There you go. 17-16 Safari. So that has just been swayed. I'm going to give you guys like 45 more seconds to call Nick. Nick is on those phone lines. 17-16 Safari. My brackets, by the way, are a mess.
Yeah,
Wish you
mine
guys
are
have-
too.
You guys, Jason, you want to show the sheet right now? Look at this. This is all the change. Look at all the change.
Wow.
You're
Look at all
so
the-
messy.
I have to cross it out every time the score changes.
Why do you have to scribble it though? You could just like
Yeah,
see,
don't
look, write a
scribble it.
line through it. Oh, I can't
Look.
show mine though because I have my predictions. But just write a line through it. You don't have to scribble it.
You don't have to scribble like a little school child.
You telling me I'm not going to put this on the fridge? It's going to go on our fridge.
No.
That's beautiful.
I didn't realize this was
It's-
calligraphy class.
It's almost as good as my drawing of the new Tomorrowland paint
Ooh.
scheme from the Wigs pre-show.
Just like the photos.
There you go. That's it. I'm not actually doing photo reports anymore. I'm going to draw what's happening.
Sketch it out.
Bob Ross style,
Just
please.
as you
A
walk,
new YouTube
just
show we're
happy-
doing.
sketch it out.
Happy hexagon.
Tom Corliss paints.
Nick is on the
Oh,
phone.
I would join Wigs for that.
To watch me
Corliss
paint.
Wow.
It's like Mario Paint. Is there like a side game where I have a fly swatter and I'm hitting fanboys?
Oh, I miss Mario. Can we
Oh,
create that? Where's
Hey,
our
we have
spelling?
WDWNT the game.
We're trying to make VR happen. We're not making other games. Let's
that be
work
like
on
an
the game
Easter
that
egg?
we're working on now.
Can that be an Easter egg in VR, like in the animation pavilion?
We don't have an animation pavilion.
Why
What animation
not?
am I showing people in VR? Nick,
You're
what happened?
not. You're
All right, what didn't happen here? All right, we have 2 votes for Safari.
Scribble away, Corliss.
That's 21-16 now.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. We also have 2 votes for Mine Train.
Oh, wow.
So that puts Mine Train over Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, 15-18 now.
Wait, you said 2 votes for Mine Train.
2 votes for Mine Train.
15 to 18. It now has a nice lead.
There you go.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
That phone line isn't lighting up.
Hold on.
Oh, I was just about to call it. So
Yeah.
this might be the last one. What a mess on my paper. Park Center tonight at 1 a.m.
That's the last call then,
1 a.m. Park Center. Have
late
fun.
night.
Ben is like cursing at me off
Yep.
air right now.
Late night with
more
Ben.
than likely.
Well,
Well,
if
see you
that's-
real late with
Sorry,
Ben
Ben.
Harris.
If this is the
Real
last
early.
call, then Mine Train wins because one caller can't sway that one.
Well, yeah, I think that's decided at this point.
Looks like Space has won over Frozen.
Oh wait, I think Nick is taking a second call. I haven't called the
Oh.
round yet, so people
No.
calling in right now could still do it. This round hasn't been called yet. I'm getting some wacky scores now with all these call-ins.
Yep.
No more blowouts anymore.
No.
I think
No.
blowouts in later rounds are going to become impossible.
Well, we even
Well,
had
I was
a
gonna
blowout.
say, well,
Carousel of Progress over Sword, and then
and someone called in and ruined it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Soren's got those 2 points. Nick is still on the phone. I think we've gotten. Oh, is that it? Go ahead, Nick.
All right, that is it. I guess we're closing the line here. But we
All
got
right, the
2
line is
votes.
officially closed now. But what do we got?
2 votes for Haunted Mansion. Does that flip it back
Wow.
around? or-
That does.
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
votes for Haunted Mansion.
Wow.
Wow.
And that's it.
That's it.
Mansion has just squeaked by.
Wow. 19 to 18.
That's insane.
And that's the round. It's done. All right, quick recap. The Haunted Mansion over the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, 19 to 18. Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress over Sauron Around the World, 21 to 2. Frozen Ever After over Space Mountain, 15 to 12. Big Thunder Mountain over Pirates of the Caribbean. I think that's an upset. 15 to 8. Tower of Terror over Star Tours, 18 to 5. Safari, finally, Everest is dead. Safari over Everest, 21-16. Flight of Passage over Muppets, 15 to 6. And Splash over The People Mover, 15 to 6. That's the round. We're not wasting any time. We're getting right into the next round. Here we go. Mansion. Haunted Mansion versus Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. Nicholas, take it away.
All right, I am going to put my vote with the Carousel of Progress.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the Grand Fiesta Tour of this year's event.
So much better than Grand Fiesta Tour.
I don't know. I always.
How dare you?
I love. I do love Mansion. I love riding through that, and I love many of the characters. But the show scenes and the story and the music of Carousel of Progress is just really, really good. And honestly, even like years ago, it doesn't matter whether it's now or years ago, that attraction was always the one I'd pick. in the Magic Kingdom over Mansion, even over Pirates. It was always the attraction that I really, really loved to go on. So there you go.
Nathan.
I'm gonna have to go to the Haunted Mansion. I love both of these very much. But if I have to choose one, I can go on Carousel pretty much anytime I want, right? But if I had to say, okay, you can go on Haunted Mansion or that, I would probably choose Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion is, though I think the story has gotten murky, I don't love the new bride. And I think there are certain updates, as we've been talking about, that don't work as well. Carousel has its own problems. That last scene is rough. And it needs a real big update. I think if they updated Carousel, it would be it'd be hard for me. But Haunted Mansion is more immersive. It's a classic. It's probably one of my favorites in the entire park. So goes to Mansion for me.
Marcy.
Carousel of Progress, 100%. I don't care that the last scene is stuck in the 80s. I think if they did,
90s.
whatever. I think if they did,
I had Jurassic Park on Laserdisc. Couldn't be.
okay. Well, I think if they did update the last scene, I would hope that they would put it back to the original and not try to do some future year. But either way, I love this attraction. I go on it every time I'm there. And it's again another one of those things that kind of imprinted on me as a child. So I just love it.
Jason.
This is really tough. Can you come back to me?
Jason
no,
needs more time.
This is difficult because I really want to vote for Carousel of Progress. I think Carousel of Progress is so unique in that it was a Walt creation.
It's also the only one.
It's the only
Mansion
one.
exists in some form.
And that's kind of what I was getting to, was that Carousel of Progress is a Walt creation. Mansion was a Walt creation in Disneyland, and Carousel of Progress is the only Walt creation that we have in Florida that Disneyland doesn't have. I think that's really, really important. I think that's significant. I don't know. This is so hard. I think, oh man, if Mansion actually worked, it would be easy to vote for Mansion. But man, I think
It's
I'm
Walt's
just going to
favorite
vote
attraction date, Jason. You got to vote for it.
What, Carousel?
Yeah.
And you won't ride Mansion,
Walt's
so
favorite
I should...
attraction was the railroad.
Yeah.
That was his second favorite.
That got no votes.
got no votes.
I know Nick voted for the railroad.
I think because Marcy won't ride Haunted Mansion, I'm going to vote for Carousel of Progress. That way I can blame it on her.
David.
Don't blame it on me.
I had talked myself into voting for Haunted Mansion, but then Tom and Jason swayed me the other way by the point that it was an attraction that Walt worked on. It's the only one in the world in existence, so I'm going with Carousel.
Ashley.
I kind of have to say the same as David. I was gung-ho gonna vote for Mansion, but playing them kind of back both in my head while everybody was talking. I mean, Carousel does scream Walt. And he worked on it. You can see his touches in it. And I mean, I enjoy them both. Neither one of them I can honestly say is my favorite. But if I was going to go on one and the better attraction, I mean, they're both essentially animatronic shows, I would go with Carousel of Progress.
What's the score?
Mansion only has one vote from Nathan, so
Yeah,
right
that's
now
it.
it's 15-3.
Especially with the last scene broken and just the mess that is the queue with the fast pass and just the way the experience is currently. And because this is two vintage attractions from the same time period. So I feel like it's pretty even keel. You can't be like, well, this one's a classic. This one means more to people. I think Carousel of Progress is like the one thing we have, and considering Walt walked on the Florida property before anything was built on it, it's the only other one he's technically visited. And so I think it's important that there's something that he had his heart in here, and it's one of the few attractions in the world that's only at one of the resorts. There's not a whole lot of those that exist. It's like Matterhorn and that. It's very few and far between, especially with classic stuff. So I'm going Carousel of Progress. I think it means more to us than Mansion. I think Mansion, in Mansion, we could sit here and argue all day. Well, I think Disneyland, I think Tokyo, and Phantom Manor's great. We can't have that argument with Carousel because no one else has it. It's just us.
Plus the Sherman Brothers. I love the songs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Grim Grinning Ghosts is great too. I mean, but Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow is pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
I just think Carousel means more, and I think if classic against classic, I think Carousel for Walt Disney World is more meaningful.
Well, that and it has.
It is. It wasn't the first.
And it has the quintessential Walt optimism of the future, and always looking forward to what's going to be. I mean, it screams Walt and encapsulates him kind of so well.
That's 18-3 Carousel of Progress, the number 14 seed, by the way. I don't know why it didn't do this well last time. I don't know what happened.
No. That's because we had Grand Fiesta Tour.
Now we're willing Carousel of Progress into the final four.
Yep.
We'll see. 40 people are about to call for Mansion. All right,
I don't know.
Frozen Ever After. Why do you have Space Mountain?
Oh,
Frozen.
I screwed it up because it changed.
It did. Frozen Ever After versus Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Ashley.
Frozen. It's a great dark ride, and I like it. It's got wonderful show scenes, and I kind of have to go with the same thing. As much as Frozen isn't my favorite movie, I still love the dark ride. So they made me sort of fall in love with those characters on the merits of the attraction. So I got to go with Frozen.
David.
Yeah, I'm going with Frozen as well.
Jason.
Honestly, I think I kind of think that Frozen is too new to be in the final four at this point. I mean, well, if you think about
the reasoning for every choice you make.
But here's the thought behind it. If you think about what Nathan said last time, is Frozen going to be here in 25 years? Well,
you?
Big Thunder.
I hope so.
I hope I'm not here. If I'm doing this
I don't understand this argument. This is the tournament for the best attraction at Walt Disney World. Which is better?
I think Big Thunder is better.
That's it. Then say that.
Yeah.
Marcy.
Well, I think Frozen has better animatronics than Big Thunder, so I'm going to go with that one.
Doesn't have any.
Doesn't it have like the goat or something?
There's a
And the
possum
rock
that
moves.
swings.
The rock moves, and isn't there like a
The
goat
rock
or something?
hasn't moved in 8 years.
I thought the goat was only in Disneyland.
No, we have the goat. He's up on the building.
Not
Yeah,
Dynamite
there's a
Goat.
goat.
He's
and
on the
there's a couple
roof.
things that move.
Yeah, I wish we had the Dynamite and the Rock that moves.
We have nothing. Our finale
Nope.
is literally
Nothing.
immobile. Our finale has stopped for a break.
Thus, Frozen Ever After. That's my vote.
There you go, Nathan.
It's Big Thunder for me. Frozen's. You know what? Frozen's not even the best recent Disney movie. If it was a Tangled ride, we'd have a different conversation. All right, but
False, but we can have that conversation.
Whatever.
Zootopia.
Wait, yeah, Zootopia. This is my point. Zootopia is even better. But the problem,
And if anyone says Moana, they're fired.
the problem.
Can we just argue for the song?
No.
No.
Try everything. Doesn't mean I'll agree.
I get it. I understand that Frozen's a really well-made ride. And it certainly is. And the animatronics are really pretty. It's not my jam. And it's great. And when I can get on it, I get a fast pass for it because it's hard to get. But it doesn't make me happy the way Big Thunder makes me happy. So it's Big Thunder.
Nick.
Yeah, I've been really for both these attractions. This one's a little bit difficult. Big Thunder has this enjoyment factor for me in the whole experience leading up to going on the attraction. It's different where you sit on the train. You get different experiences at different times of the day, which is cool. And I love it to death. And I love the show scene and everything. But in the end of the day, Frozen is a wonderful modern dark ride with just amazing animatronics, absolutely fantastic. And if you were to put these in front of me at the end of the day, like say, hey, which one do you want to go on? It'd have to be Frozen because I like experiencing that new modern technology, and they do it so when it's done right, and they do it so well here. And it's hard for me to say Big Thunder Mountain's one of the top 4 attractions at Walt Disney World, but I could say that with Frozen. I think I can make that argument. So Frozen.
Surprise! I only voted for Big Thunder when it was up against Triceratops Spin, so I think you can imagine that I'm going for Frozen. Big Thunder is really nice, but Big Thunder isn't really a Disney ride. It was built in a period where funds were tight. And it was kind of like, well, we can't build Western River. Let's build a runaway train ride. Runaway train ride's been done a million times. Like, yeah, this is probably the best one ever built, but it's still a runaway train ride. And other than the scene along the railroad, I think I don't know. It's nothing about Big Thunder does it for me. I'm going with Frozen. Frozen is more quintessentially Disney. It has a ton of animatronics. They're all cutting edge. It's everything. It's a classic dark ride brought to today's standards, and I love that. I'm going with Frozen. What's the score?
15-6.
15-6 for Frozen Ever After. We'll see what happens there. On to the next matchup, the Twilight Zone. Tower of Terror versus Kilimanjaro Safaris. Oh, boy. Nick, go ahead.
I feel a little weird because I bashed Tower like every step of the way, but here I have to vote for it. It's definitely the more enjoyable attraction here. And I've never bashed it for any, like I've never disagreed with anything anybody have said here about it. It's an amazing feat, and it's thoroughly enjoyable. It's the better, more enjoyable attraction here. Tower.
Nathan.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one because Kilimanjaro is such a unique beast, no pun intended, for the entire. I mean, nothing else is doing what that thing is doing. At the same time, Tower, man, when you go down Sunset Boulevard and see that thing, it's something. And I'm gonna have to go with Tower. I think I don't even necessarily love drop rides necessarily. It's not my thing, except for Tower. But it is always fun. I've been on Kilimanjaro and not had a good time. I've never had not a good time on Tower. So Tower for me. And I just love that queue and aesthetic. So
Marcy.
So I love Kilimanjaro. I love the animals, but I do have to go with Tower on this one. I just feel like the atmosphere completely brings you back to a very different time in history. And I'm not even talking about like the ride itself, because I really don't enjoy riding it. I love the theming. I love the music. It's just a complete experience. So I'm definitely going with Tower.
Jason.
Everybody knows how much I love animals.
How much as I love you.
I'm gonna so I'm gonna go with Tower.
David.
Yeah, I mean, I like safaris. I'm wearing the shirt, but I cannot vote against Tower in this situation. Tower
Time to change shirt.
Yeah.
Ashley.
They're both wonderful, and I love them both.
Time to change cups.
You know what? I'm going to enjoy my safari cup and vote for safaris because I can't let them get shut out. I love them. I can't let them get shut out.
Surprise! I'm going for Tower of Terror because it's in the greatest theme park on Earth. So Tower of Terror it is.
Except it's basically the only thing left of your greatest theme park
But
on
per
Earth.
capita better than animals. All right, Nick, go ahead.
All right, the comeback has begun. We have a vote for Haunted Mansion.
That's 18-5 now. 18-5. Carousel of Progress over Mansion. What was the score on Tower? 18-3.
Yeah.
18-3 Tower. The final match in the e-ticket 8. I want to remark that Carousel of Progress is in the e-ticket 8 and winning the round. We have Flight of Passage versus Splash Mountain. Ashley, what do you think?
This is really hard because like I have a Flight of Passage is great. Like I said, it justified Pandora for me after years of thinking that it was one of the dumbest things that Disney ever announced. But for me personally, I have to go Splash. I have many more family and like I said, college program memories tied up in Splash.
David.
Yeah, I gotta think of this in terms of point in time. What is the attraction that I like best right now? And that's Flight of Passage, even over Splash Mountain.
Jason.
You know, this one is probably the most diametrically opposed set of attractions. You've got an audio animatronic extravaganza with Splash Mountain. And then you've got Flight of Passage, which is simply a screen-based attraction. You couldn't get two more opposite types of
I think
attractions.
it's unfair to say simply. It's a
Can you count
ride
the-
system that never existed before.
Yeah,
Can you
but
count
it's
the animatronic in the queue though.
well, no.
Guy in a tube.
I'm just saying that.
I mean, technically, yeah, it's an animatronic.
It's impressive.
But it's a screen-based attraction. It's a ride system that's innovative,
but
it's
arguably has a queue with just as many physical scenes as Splash Mountain.
yeah. I think, like I said last round, I think Splash is a pinnacle of achievement of Imagineering in the 90s. And as much as I like Flight of Passage, I think Splash is the better attraction.
Marcy.
So to me, this is like, do I want to vote for future Disney or classic Disney? Because I feel like Splash Mountain really encompasses what Disney is. I mean, it's a very immersive animatronic powerhouse, and it's really fun. As far as Flight of Passage goes, it's a technological marvel. It's beautiful. It's very immersive. I'm gonna go with Splash, just because again, riding Flight of Passage for me is kind of stressful. I don't really like the restraints. And again, it is a simulator. It's a screen-based attraction. So depending on where you sit, you may not have the best experience. I mean, I've sat in the middle, it's great. I've sat on the end, not so great. So I think in Splash Mountain, you're gonna have a good experience no matter where you sit. So I think I'm gonna go with Splash.
Nathan.
I am going to go. Though I voted for Muppets, I am going to go with Flight of Passage. My main reason for this is because I actually don't really like Splash Mountain's story that much. It has one, and I think it's a little, it's a narrative. The narrative sort of is stay in your place, don't go where you shouldn't go, don't try things.
Don't
back
blow
home.
up a moonshine.
Yeah, don't if you leave home, you're only gonna find trouble. So stay home, zippity doo dah. That's a pretty weird message. Especially because most Disney stuff is like that thing out there, my destiny. Let's get on a raft or a
How far
boat or
I'll
whatever.
go.
Right. Aladdin and all, and I mean everyone's like something's out there, right? I mean Quasimodo.
I want adventure in my place I'm already in.
Right. So for me, Splash Mountain, like it's an excellent ride, but it's a weird message.
I never really thought about that. It's true. It is. It does tell you like, just stay home.
Yeah. I mean that's what it
which
is.
if you wanted to go to
Perfectly
Universal,
normal
I tell
for
you that.
Georgia.
But,
Yeah. So for me, Flight of Passage is It's interesting. It's expressive. It shows an appreciation for cultures, in the sense that it's showcasing people who are attempting to sort of understand other people's cultures. And if you even have sort of an idea about the former movie, it's sort of the organization in charge is the opposite of what was going on before. And so it's sort of an interesting spin on conservation and cultural understanding. But it's pretty light on those touches and pretty much in the queue. So story-wise, I like Flight of Passage better. So I'm going to go Flight of Passage.
Nick.
I thought the same thing, Jason, about the differences between these attractions, where one animatronics, one screen. It's pretty interesting, but it comes down to the way these make me feel when I ride on them, and I'm voting for Flight of Passage. With Splash Mountain, it's super fun, super enjoyable. Never not happy riding that attraction. But Flight of Passage is like a game changer, and it does what you'd want theme parks to strive for these days. It's a completely immersive, almost personal, intimate experience that's supremely emotional. I mean, you get off of that thing and you're like, wow, did I really just experience that at a theme park with a bunch of other people, sitting around me, like just sitting on this, on this contraption. And it's an amazing feeling that I swear no other attraction has ever made me feel that way. Like it was just so amazing and so immersive. I love it.
Splash Mountain was my favorite attraction at Walt Disney World until May of last year. Flight is something special, and I hate screen rides. I really, really dislike them generally. And so when we found out Flight was screen based, I remember being really mad about it. I was like, oh, it's another screen ride. All right. And then I rode it, and I mean, beyond seeing the building and going through the queue, the ride was mind-boggling. The projection surface is amazing, and that film, I forget how many miles they said of animation basically is in that 3D environment, but it's insane. It goes on forever. You see, every time I go, I see new mountains and different things going on in the background, and I'm not a fan of screen and digital, but it's done at such a level where it's definitely art in this case. I think they really made a film that's beautiful and provoking, and there's something really special about the music is captivating, and there's some really powerful scenes like in the cave where the bioluminescence happens. Just the whole chasing in the mist and the wind and the smells and how the ride system works. It's mind-boggling. I love Splash to death, but Flight of Passage is, I mean, it's the natural progression of things. It's where we should go. The art form should always be outdoing itself, and I think that's what Flight of Passage is doing. Not that I think we should go totally for screens, but I think you had the most successful movie of all time, which created basically 3D movie-going. How do you not do a 3D movie-going experience? You have an attraction based on the movie that pioneered 3D movies. You have to do it. So I get that, and they went above and beyond. Flight of Passage. What's the score?
Let's see. You were the deciding vote, so it is.
Oh, wow. It was that close.
12-9.
12-9 for Flight of Passage.
Yep.
The number to call 407-774-8255, because you have until the end of my little commercial here to sway any votes if you want it. It's 18-5 Carousel of Progress over Mansion, 15-6 Frozen over Big Thunder, 18-3 Tower over Safari, and 12-9 Flight of Passage over Splash.
As it stands now, we actually have an attraction from each park, which is insane.
Oh yeah. And somehow the one in Magic Kingdom is Carousel. Quick ad for our friends over at Small World Big Fun. There are times, of course, when planning a Disney vacation can be overwhelming. Even if you've been many times before, you know how much it could take to get things exactly the way you want them. And this is where Cindy Miner and the team at Small World Big Fun comes in. Want to remark, they have some great summer specials going on right now. Jason, we don't have those handy handy.
I don't have. They're on the site.
They're at WDWNT.com. There's a couple of summer specials. So if you're thinking about going this summer, please check out smallworldbigfun.com/Disney fans. That's one word, Disney fans with an S. And they'd be happy to help you, of course. Some really great, and they book, of course, any Disney destination, the Disney Cruise Line, Alani, even Universal and SeaWorld. So again, if you need help booking that Disney vacation, please go with Small World Big Fun. They're a no fee agency. It doesn't cost you anything to use their service. They're just there to help. So again, that's smallworldbigfun.com/Disney fans. It's one word, Disney fans with an S. Nick is taking some calls. So we're going to wait till Nick has taken all the calls. Nope, Jason, you're in the wrong commercial break.
Oh, sorry.
We're waiting, Nick, to take these calls. Again, 407-774-8255. As soon as those phone lines stop ringing right now, we're going to close the round. So if you got to call in, you got to call in right now. And please have that code ready. Your what is it, VVC? Your voter validation code?
Vote verification code.
Vote verification code. Please have that ready. Because again, as of right now, it's Carousel versus Frozen and Tower of Terror versus Flight of Passage. If they happen, we'll see. What's going on, Nick?
Let's see if it stays that way. We have one vote for Flight of Passage.
That's 14-9.
We have one vote for Splash Mountain.
14-11.
We have one vote for Big Thunder Mountain.
That's 15-8.
We have another vote for Splash Mountain.
14-13.
So Splash is one vote behind.
You 1 point behind.
Yeah. All right. So where do we stand right now?
Carousel of Progress 18-5 over Mansion. Frozen Ever After 15-8 over Big Thunder. Tower of Terror 18-3 over Safari. Flight of Passage 14-13 over Splash.
All right. Let's give 30 more seconds. And then
Are those phone lines lit or no?
Nope.
I would give them less than 30.
Less than 30 seconds. You want to call
I
it?
warned them while you were on the
Oh,
phone.
okay. I didn't hear you. All right.
10, 9, 8, 7. Yeah, 7. 6, 5, 4, 3.
Oh.
Stop.
Oh.
Oh,
I knew that was going to happen. If I didn't stop to
Well,
say
of
yeah, 7, the
course.
round would be over. Let that be a lesson to you. Mug of the week, by the way. I represented a bunch of attractions that are now probably eliminated. Carousel Progress didn't even make the mug.
Nope, but
but
it's still
Magic
in here.
Kingdom did.
It's still in the
Magic
still in the
yeah,
tournament.
Magic Kingdom did. Yeah, Magic Kingdom had so many attractions, and here they're down to Carousel of Progress. We didn't even get the beginning.
Sorry. Oh well.
What is it?
Nah, just wait.
Oh, because there's another call. Park Center tonight at 1.
Sorry,
Tonight
Ben.
at 1 a.m. What about Ben? He's on at 1 a.m. for Park Center, where they're going to yell about how we put Carousel of Progress in the Final Four.
They sure are.
How did it be? Here's my Pete impression. How did they put Carousel over Mansion? Come on.
You're not flailing
Gotta
enough like a
shake
muppet.
this.
Yeah, there you go.
Do it. Violent.
Oh
Anyway,
my
love you, Pete.
lord!
Love you, Pete.
All right,
Anyway.
I'm gonna recap. I need to recap some scores and update my spreadsheet here just to make sure we're all on the same track. So, Haunted Mansion in round 3 has won. Right, this is round 3. Haunted Mansion won.
Why are you in round
No,
3?
Carousel of
Because-
Progress one.
I'm starting at round 3 because
Oh, okay.
I haven't updated things. since
Round 3 is Mansion versus Mine Train.
right, and Mansion won.
Mansion 1, correct.
And Mine Train lost. All right.
Correct.
And then also in round 3, Frozen Ever After won.
Correct.
And Space Mountain lost.
Yes.
Okay. And then also in round 3, Big Thunder Mountain won.
Yes. You skipped over Carousel beating Sauron.
All right. And Carousel won.
Yes.
Got it. And what else won in round
Tower
3?
beat Star Tours.
So Star Tours has lost in round 3.
Safari beat Everest.
Safaris.
Flight
Yep.
of Passage beat Muppets. And Splash Mountain beat the People Mover. That was last round. All right, the phone lines are now closed. By the way, that's the end of the round now.
Officially
Round
clear.
over. Give me the scores.
I don't think this changes anything, but we got 2 votes for Carousel of Progress.
No, it doesn't. It's now 22-5. The mansion is destroyed.
We also got 2 more votes for Flight of Passage.
Wow.
Did that swap it?
No,
Oh, it
18-13.
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
Round is over. We're on to the next. We're on to the Phantasmic Four, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Carousel of Progress versus Frozen Ever After. Ashley.
Good luck, Ashley.
Oh. Why do I always? Oh God. I don't know. They both. I mean, your classic animatronics and Walt versus new technology and new dark ride. I gotta go with Walt. It's if you put both in front of me, I would probably go through Carousel of Progress over Frozen.
David.
Yeah, you know what? Let me be honest. There's a very good chance that I fall asleep during Carousel of Progress. So I'm going to go with Frozen and the newer technology.
Jason.
We talked about this before. Carousel is the only one there is. There won't be another. There can't be another. They could clone Frozen
There's
100
also
times.
only one Frozen.
Yeah,
event.
but they could clone Frozen 100 times if they wanted to. So I'm going to vote for Carousel.
Marcy.
Yeah, Frozen, I mean, that's what dark rides are going to be from now on, pretty much. I mean, they're impressive, they're great, but Carousel of Progress is extremely unique, and it's never going to be done again, and I can't vote against it.
Nathan.
It's nostalgia aside. I just like Carousel of Progress more than I like Frozen Ever After. It's a fun show. No, you're right. No one is ever going to make another building again that can crush people.
Oh my God.
Not going to happen.
Wow.
It's not going to happen.
Too
True,
soon.
though. It's not going to happen.
Too soon. Was it in the 70s? It was in Disneyland.
Right. But my point remains. It is a miraculous thing that more people aren't hurt on that thing, in the sense that it is.
In fairness,
people can just
Pirates emotionally crushed me.
Wow.
But
Well,
yeah, I just
Pirates
don't
is
think it's
also
a thing.
haunted, so
Yeah, that's true. And I just don't think
Not
it's
anymore. He left.
he left too.
He was so annoyed.
He's on Carousel of Progress now because it's the greatest attraction in Disney World.
Yeah, for me, the building is never going to be duplicated again. It's just not going to be. It's a unique experience. It is one of a kind. It needs updating, but at the same time, it's great. I love Carousel of Progress. I'm gonna go Carousel of Progress.
Nick, restore some sanity.
This
please.
is like when we voted Sci-Fi Diner the greatest place.
Yeah,
to
no,
eat
we
now.
can't have last year again. We can't
That made sense, though.
doing this.
And not completely our fault. There were a lot of Collins that messed up that
please.
bracket.
Nick, please.
Look, Carousel of Progress. The other thing you didn't mention about it, World's Fair. It's from the World's Fair. That's just cool.
That's true.
It is so good. It is so good. The music is phenomenal. Frozen, I've talked a lot about it in all the rounds here. And you know what? I don't think Walt would be rolling over in his grave about that one either. We always get those comments online.
Over Maelstrom? No.
Over Frozen. No.
Walt loved Maelstrom.
Yeah, he did. He loved it. No.
Oh,
No, honestly, look,
we
Carousel's
wants the red beer.
fantastic, but the Frozen was done so well. It's the epitome of what they're going to do for modern dark rides. Yes, but it's so good. I think it is going to live on with the generation that grew up loving Frozen. It's going to go on for a while. Even if we don't necessarily like that, and it's a very well done ride. Great animatronics. I'm going to vote for Frozen. Have to here.
I know I'm the one who led the Walt rally and the whole "it's the only one" thing. I think the way people saw a theater turn and this man on stage present a show in 1964. I think they were about as amazed as people today who see a living snowman follow their boat and talk to them. And he like bounces around and he looks real. And I think they're both significant to different generations. And I think honestly, again, I'm obviously I love history, but I also love when Imagineering can actually like change and elevate the art form. And I think it's taking like a Disneyland style dark ride. We don't have a lot of in Florida. Even though it may not belong at Epcot, it takes that idea and it sort of blends it with Epcot with this very real architecture inside and this little bit of culture and just this unbelievable animatronics and score and effects and staging. I really like it. I have to go with Frozen.
I think
Carousel
people in
has a value.
1964 were more impressed with Carousel of Progress than people now are impressed with Frozen.
No.
People,
No, because
say
these people just saw Abraham Lincoln stand up. So I don't think that's accurate. I think Lincoln was the standout animatronic. By the time people saw Carousel, they're like, oh, this is still amazing. But remember when Lincoln stood up?
Yeah, and now they've got Avatar Flight of Passage, and then they go on Frozen.
Yeah, but what's the narrative of Frozen? It's the greatest hits of the songs.
Yeah, but so is every dark.
Also. That's
what a dark ride is. Even Walt's dark ride.
No, absolutely. I get it. I just man, maybe you just gotta like Frozen more.
Maybe if they updated Carousel and it was relevant. But
yeah,
I
get that.
I think the bouncy snowman is like one of those moments. I think it's like when people saw the Wicked Witch in Great Movie Ride for the first time, or when like any significant animatronic, like the shaman on River Journey. I think it's one of those moments that's going to stick with people for that generation. And I think Carousel's never been that. Carousel is a wonderful classic that embodies Walt in many ways, but I don't think it's ever been that defining. It wasn't anyone's defining moment at the fair. I think Lincoln was. And even the Skyway probably more so, believe it or not. And I think Frozen and the other, you could say that for the other two attractions in this Final Four. I think Tower and Flight of Passage have been that for a guest on vacation, have provided those kind of moments. I don't think Carousel has. As wonderful and meaningful as it is, it's not that level. It's like People Mover. I think it's at that level. Where it should be different.
Yeah, and three of you brought up the issue with the fact that Carousel will never be replicated, whereas Frozen will be. And in my mind, that actually speaks to Frozen more than anything, because yes, they absolutely could replicate Carousel of Progress if they wanted to, but they don't want to, because in 2018 in the theme park world, it would not make sense to replicate that. Now, I never want Carousel of Progress to leave Magic Kingdom, but they're not going to put that in any other park, and I don't think they should. I absolutely think they should take Frozen and put that in other parks, because I think other people will want to see that in other areas in other countries.
This is a company built on animation, and we shouldn't knock them when they present those characters in a true to life form. I think their Imagineering is doing their job exceedingly well. I think they the same with like Flight of Passage. They took a movie and they made it real, and I think that's the other side of the spectrum. Like, yeah, we don't like IPs, and sometimes like Incredicoaster and Toy Story Land, they're dumb and cheap and rushed. And Frozen, even though it was an overlay, I think the people that worked on that just really cared. I think they really thought about it. They took the tiniest space I've ever seen and somehow made it an A-caliber dark ride. I don't know how. They sat there and looked at, let's move the load and let's do this and move the theater and they made the most of the tiniest bit of space in a Disney park and made it something unbelievable. I don't know how they did it.
But what would Walt Disney World be without some of those classic attractions? I mean, I think that if you removed Carousel of Progress, it would be much more of a travesty than if you removed Frozen. Because
That's
I
true,
feel like
but
from now
there's
on,
a balance, Marcy. You
we've
also
got, like,
can't have a
4
Walt Disney
classics.
World without new attractions because people stop coming.
No,
So
I'm not
there's a
saying
balance.
to not have new attractions.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way that the voting is going is more towards the new and different. It's not like appreciating
But
what started it all
I
and
think
what's
it
been
speaks for 4 years ago Mansion won, as opposed to we're having a rough year this year. But I think the 2 years that preceded this, I think we got some attractions that finally make Walt Disney World better. And I think we were stalling behind the other resorts for a couple of years, and now finally we're starting to open things that make Walt Disney World special and are game changing again. And I think Flight of Passage and Frozen are those things.
Yeah, they definitely are. But I also think that there's a place for it.
I'm not going to keep pushing. Like, Carousel of Progress deserves to be where it's gotten in this tournament, but I'm not going to continue to push this show that gets 20 people a cycle. I can't in good conscience say that's the best attraction at Walt Disney World. I think it is an accomplishment that Carousel made it this far, but I think this is as far as it goes.
It also, we never set the voting criteria here. We said best, we said favorite, whatever. If we did a voting on what these attractions like man, if we set certain criteria, like what are these attractions historically, then we can make you're allowed to vote on for whatever criteria you want. But I don't know. I think a lot of people are taking into account. I know I do. What in 2018 in this snapshot in time is an attraction that is enjoyable and people want to go on. And Frozen broke the mold. Frozen moved the yardstick forward. And Carousel of Progress did that back then, but
I think we have to be fair. It can't all be nostalgia. I've spent most of the last month screaming at people about the auction scene. I think at the same time, I have to be fair when there are new things done right. When there are new things done wrong, I am harsh on them. And when they're done right, I think credit is due. And I think in this case, credit is due.
And that's fair. But let me ask you, because I also don't know that Carousel gets a fair shake as far as representation or advertisement either, compared to Frozen.
Who's advertising the Carousel of Progress?
But that's my point. I think a lot of people...
Please tell me. I want you to be hired to advertise for Walt Disney World.
Well, even
you go into that meeting and be like, hey, we should put the Carousel of Progress on a billboard. I want to see what happens when that's pitched.
But
that's what I want to see.
But here's my argument, though. I think a lot of people, Frozen is still relatively new, especially for Epcot. It still gets some advertisement and top billing for Epcot because it's relatively new. It's a popular franchise. And Carousel of Progress doesn't necessarily get,
Frozen Ever After hasn't been on a map since it opened. And they've reduced the number of ads and billboards in town.
True.
Because of 5 hour wait.
Test Track.
But when was the last time
Test
that Carousel
Track
got
had
anything?
way more advertising, and Test Track got knocked out how many rounds ago?
Test Track has way more advertising.
We were
What's the
excited
last
that
Epcot
Carousel
attraction
got
standing?
a
Test
paint
Track
job.
Test Track has way more advertising because it needs it, because it's so bad.
Let me ask you this, everybody. I made these brackets and everyone went, why is Frozen a 1 seed? Frozen should be a 1 seed. Here's Frozen right now in the final 4.
I'm not saying that it shouldn't be. I'm just saying for argument's sake, I think a lot of people who are not regulars at the park overlook Carousel because they don't realize what it is. For better or worse, it doesn't have the recognition, but it also, nobody's really trying to get it out there or make it stand out so that people want to ride it either.
Part of good storytelling is drawing people in. And the Carousel of Progress building, the Carousel of Progress building that has existed at Walt Disney World is garbage. The World's Fair building had a glass ceiling with light going through in rainbow colors and was beautiful. We got a cheap, ugly building in Florida.
We did.
That's not the attraction's fault.
It's not
but I'm not going to knock Frozen, which has this big,
people
pretty
in the building
facade.
either.
Hey guys, good morning. By the way,
What's the
All
Jason?
I was
What's the
saying, for
score?
argument's sake,
The score right now is 12-9. Carousel is winning.
Carousel Progress is winning 12-9 right now.
I just didn't
people
want to
better
see.
call.
The phone
Something-
number is 407-774-8255 if you need to sway that. What were you saying, Marcy?
Sorry, I just didn't want to see something automatically win just because it's like the newest, shiniest
Yeah.
thing. Because I think if you were
sort of
just to
land
say,
that too.
In
hey,
fairness, the
what's
newest,
in-
shiniest thing is a redhead scene that no one likes.
no, it's
So
Flight
let's
of-
be
Flight of Passage,
completely fair
really.
to new things. Also, we have an off-the-shelf garbage roller coaster and Mater opening in June. So this isn't about, you got to be fair. Whether it's new or not, there's good and there's bad. And I think we're stressing too much on age instead of quality. This is about quality. It's not about when the thing opens.
Let's move on to the next.
We're moving on.
Yes,
so
let's
that
please.
people can call. because
Quality over age is
People
the
should
argument.
be calling now. If you're out there and you have these attractions still in, you might as well just call now. It doesn't
Maybe they
matter
need the
what we
last
say.
round, though. I wouldn't.
Well,
I wouldn't.
I don't know.
All right. Tower of Terror, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror versus Avatar Flight of Passage. Nicola Cicero. Why don't you start us
Yes,
off?
hi. I don't like Tower of Terror, Flight of Passage for sure.
Wow. Nathan.
Hmm. Gosh, this one's really, really tough because they both do really good things. And they're separate enough that you can't really do it. For me, I can't personally do it on a quality thing. Because I think they both are sort of the top tier of what they are. Oh boy. If I had to choose on which one I would go on, though, I think it's going to be Flight of Passage. And I want to say that only because I've had experiences with people who've never been on Flight of Passage too, that they come off and they go, so, and I explain how the ride is made because they want to know. And they're like, oh, that wasn't just right in front of my face. I go, no, it was a huge, massive screen. And they're like, I didn't even, what? Like it sort of breaks their brain because of how well that is done. And I love Tower. Don't get me wrong, but I think I'm gonna have to go Flight of Passage on this one. This is Sophie's choice.
Marcy.
I actually think this is the best matchup we've had because both Flight of Passage and Tower of Terror were game changers in their own way. They're both technologically incredible. They're both very immersive.
Well, this is the only two number one seeds that have met in the tournament, so makes sense.
Well, that makes sense. They both make me uncomfortable to ride, but so they're very even. I'm just saying they're very even. That being said, I think I have to go with Flight of Passage just because the queue area and everything is so gorgeous, and I love the immersion of Tower also. But I think Flight of Passage takes it a few steps further than that.
Jason.
This is tough, and Flight of Passage is a screen-based attraction when it comes down to it, and I hate the pre-show film.
The
So
Tower doesn't have anything.
Tower has a great pre-show film.
Well, yeah, but the ride itself almost
Doesn't-
doesn't have a scene. I mean, it has like the one scene, and I guess the hallway has some stuff. Like
Technically, there are screens. Technically,
I
yeah,
guess.
that's true.
But there's more than just screens.
Doesn't have a
And
rocket
Flight
raccoon.
of Passage, there's not. I'm going to vote for Tower.
All right, David.
So, like everybody says, they're almost even. The deciding factor for me was that Flight of Passage took a property that I am actively disinterested in, and I was fully expecting this ride to be trash, and it wowed me, and they did a spectacular job with that. So, Flight of Passage.
Ashley.
I enjoy Tower, but Flight is the better attraction. If we were going pre-show, different argument.
Well, yeah. I don't think anyone's gonna. No
But
one's
the
gonna
attraction
fight that.
itself, I mean, they both have great cues. They both have great theming, but Flight of Passage to me is the better, just by a little bit more immersive attraction.
I'm never gonna be able to show my face at Hollywood Studios ever again.
Oh.
If this was like if we did this like when Flight opened, before I went to California, I think I would have picked Tower. I think Guardians has elevated Tower. I think it's shown what the programming could be, and that you could do more with that ride system than you thought they could. And it's been a long time since we've played with the programming. And I think Flight, because of that, has surpassed it. I think Tower has been elevated elsewhere, and it affects my feelings on it. And I think Flight, I don't feel any resentment of Flight when I get off of it. In Tower now, I feel like, man, we really need a more exciting road. I don't want to get rid of Tower for Guardians here. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like it's time to make more exciting ride profiles again. And Flight, I don't feel any sort of letdown from Flight of Passage. I'm going Flight of Passage.
That is pretty much a resounding victory for Flight of Passage.
Is that an 18-3?
That it is, yes.
18-3. All right, Nick, go ahead.
Will it still be 18-3? For now. We have 2 votes for Frozen.
Wow. That is now 13-12 Frozen.
Yeah, flips it.
Frozen is now taking that.
Wow.
So here's what's gonna happen. The phone lines are open, 407-774-8255. Phone lines are open. We're gonna take a commercial break. And when you have the length of the commercial break to call, if you have a vote left and you need to sway this. And when we come back, we will find out what the final match is going to be and decide the winner of the tournament.
Greetings, Earthlings. I am LC Clench. Does your mobile phone actually meet your needs? It does? Or maybe you have needs that you don't even know about. Needs beyond what your tiny brain can comprehend. That is where we at Excess Tech come in. Sure, face scanning, super retina displays, and durable glass coverings are merely grasping the present, but it is time to seize the future. Introducing the latest scientific wonder from Apple, the iPhone XS. With the iPhone XS, FaceTime is a thing of the past. What if you could do more than stream a mere video of your face to friends and family? What if you could physically transport yourself the breadth of a universe? Imagine no more. Introducing Teleport Time. Here to give you a demonstration of this new technology is our most advanced cyberbotic performance unit to date, Sir E.
You may call me Siri, that is SIRI, which stands for Simulated Intelligence Robotics Interface. What do you want, Skippy? No, you may not get out. You're our lucky volunteer. In a moment, I will break down our fuzzy little friend into a mass of molecules, send those molecules through the air above your heads, and reconstruct them in the tube over here as good as new. And now, witness for yourselves the wonders of excess teleportation. Phase 1 of the process has begun. Disintegration into molecular components. Don't worry, it's practically painless. And now the second phase. The molecules are beamed to the receiving chamber where atom by atom we reconstruct our carefree traveler. And here's the little skipper now. Don't worry, Scruffy, you're not burned. You've just got a healthy glow.
A little glitch here and there, but I think you see the potential. As you see, my dear friends, the iPhone XS and Teleport Time technology is the most exciting new development you will ever encounter. So recalculate your data plan and prepare to be seized by the iPhone XS, arriving, of course, ahead of schedule later this Earth year.
Excess Tech is a subsidiary of Apple Incorporated. Using teleport time technology, they result in molecular disintegration, loss of power, major damage, alien digestion, spontaneous combustion, and an unhealthy glow. Excess Tech is not responsible for harm to users or accidental transportation to locations inhabited by hostile man-eating creatures.
Not the music we're supposed to be playing right now.
I would play other music if it warranted it.
The music I asked you for earlier.
Oh, that music.
Yeah, it's time for that music.
Oh, I didn't realize. I'm sorry. I should have looked at the script. My bad.
Uh-huh. There we go. Who's ready to take a trip back to Paradise Pier? Well, later this year, when WDWNT VR launches, you'll be able to do just that. Visit the Paradise Pier. Fun in the sun for everyone. Yay, let's show them more images of these this beautiful land. Never did I think people would yearn to go back to Paradise Pier, but here we are in 2018. See the billboard. What else we got? Oh, look, Paradise Garden Grill. And, some buildings. Great, Paradise Pier coming your way as part of WDWNT, the virtual resort, opening later this year.
Now I got a question. Was that in the works before the retheming of the area?
Yeah, we decided before there was even announced we wanted to do that.
Okay, yeah.
Because we have World of Color.
Yeah.
Need a place to have World of Color clothes.
Nice.
We have Mickey's Fun Wheel. We have Silly Symphony Swings. And we have some other stuff in the pier. It'll be fun. Lots of fun in the sun for everyone virtually. Nick, what happened?
Nothing really. We got a call from somebody who already voted in round 1. We got a call from
trying to cheat.
We got a call from somebody who wanted to vote for the final matchup already. And we got a call from someone who didn't register to play. But I am throwing his vote out there anyway. It won't count, unfortunately, but it's from our friend Gabe. He just wanted to know that he is voting for Carousel of Progress. Now, how Gabe did not actually register for the game,
wow,
I don't know.
Gabe!
Wow.
Right?
Josh is somewhere yelling at Gabe.
Yeah.
I think even Josh registered.
So disappointed.
Anyway. All right.
So nothing changes.
So that means, oh boy, the final matchup in WDWNT March Madness 2018 is Frozen Ever After versus Avatar Flight of Passage, which both opened in the last 2 years. So, yeah. Well, this is interesting. Well, let's not waste any more time, shall we? Let's make this happen.
Let's do it.
Ashley, Flight of Passage or Frozen Ever After? What is the best ride right now at Walt Disney World?
Frozen. Or, I'm sorry, no.
Wow.
No.
Oh, wait, what did you vote for? Wait, what?
Sorry, I hiccuped. Frozen it's great. It's a great dark ride. It didn't go up against many other dark rides, and I made the argument at one point it's not even the best dark ride, and it's not. It's wonderful.
I read somewhere it was the best dark ride, so I agree with that.
but Flight of Passage it's better. It's more immersive. It leaves you with it's an actual experience versus just a ride. So I'm going Flight of Passage.
Flight of Passage. David.
Yeah, very similar reasoning. Flight of Passage seems like it's a slightly better attraction than Frozen is.
Jason. Where are you going? Jason, because there's no original attraction in here, Jason is melting.
I quit. I could go with the one that Marcy rides.
I've ridden both.
I could go with the one that I could ride 10 times in a row.
Oh my god.
Or I could go with the one that's in Epcot. But I think all 3 of those would be Frozen, and I am going to vote for Avatar. As much as I hate the pre-show, I'm going to vote for Avatar.
Marcy's so mad that this is the final.
I know, this is a hard matchup because I don't have an emotional connection to either one, honestly. As far as like what I go to,
flip a coin. That's
No.
what I did.
No, I'm not. As far as the type of ride I go to Walt Disney World to ride, that would be Frozen. Things that are immersive, have incredible animatronics, are based on animated movies that make up this company that we love. But I do think that because of the technology, because of the incredible immersion, because of the beautiful queue outside, I'm gonna go with Flight of Passage.
Nathan.
Guys, it's been a lot of fun. We've laughed, we've cried. I think I frustrated Tom, which is always a favorite of mine. So I've had a blast. For me, it's Flight of Passage. I think I made my point about my I love the animatronics of Frozen. I just don't really like Frozen. Flight of Passage is a really fun, though I hate that pre-video, at least the first one. I will have to go with Flight of Passage.
Nick.
If you had asked me, no one had. What is in 2018 right now? In March of 2018, what is the best attraction in all of Walt Disney World?
Stitch came back. Which is also what people are going to be saying later this year. I'm not sure why Stitch came back. Nick, go ahead.
If you had asked me, March 2018, what is the best attraction in all of Walt Disney World without doing a tournament and voting and stuff, I would say Flight of Passage. It is the best thing Walt Disney World is doing right now. It is innovative. It moves things forward. Frozen is a great ride, and it makes you feel good, and it's a great show scenes and everything. But Flight of Passage just changes everything, and it is an emotional experience at a theme park that is personal to you. Like it really is. It does something with with the technology that I just didn't expect theme parks to do, and it wows me every time. So Flight of Passage.
I have had in my lifetime, there's a handful of attractions that I went on the first time, and I felt like everything was different after I rode them. And I think back in the 90s, I remember riding Tower and feeling that way. And the first time out at Disneyland, I rode Indiana Jones. I remember feeling that way, although I was much later to the game with that. And then Radiator Springs Racers, I felt like, oh, these animatronics and the mountain range and just everything. That level of storytelling was unbelievable. And then I still think I prefer Racers, and there's a lot of personal reasons there. But Flight of Passage felt like our Racers. They built this giant mountain range. It's in this land that is unbelievably beautiful and feels real, despite being this completely made-up alien planet. And this queue and the placemaking and just this incredible story that unfolds in the queue. And just every bit of the queue is so thought out and tells a piece of the story. And even though the pre-show's bad, it hits on a lot of that stuff from the queue and really sets it up as for people that could care less what Avatar is. I think besides that guy's acting, that pre-show is so well thought out. The Jackie Ogden piece and the explanation of how it works, and then the reveal to the screen where even though you knew it was going to be a screen, you're like, what is going on? And you're flying down the side of a tree. And when that mist hits you and you're like, oh, there's like a mist coming off the mountain and it's really hit me in the face. And then there's this forest smell. Flight of Passage that first ride was one of those experiences I'll never forget the rest of my life. You don't even with all the great attractions we've talked about in this tournament, there's few that produce a moment like that. And I love so many of these, and so many are special, but there's a certain level that's only achieved by so many attractions like Pirates and Mansion and Indy and Racers, and Flight of Passage is in that group. Despite being a screen ride, it's in Tower. It's in that group. It's Flight of Passage. That's 21-0 Flight of Passage.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
So a whole hell of a lot of you are going to have to call in to make that change if you need to.
But go for it while we go over Tragic.
407-774-8255.
11 people, right?
You have until the end of the next
yeah,
little
we gotta
bit.
do T-shirts, don't we?
We
Jeez.
are, yeah. Do you have that ready?
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm going to mention that March Madness has.
Oh, by the way, we got a flight for vote for Flight of Passage.
23 nothing. There you go. March Madness is brought to you by our wonderful partners at TeePublic. Don't forget to shop apparel and accessories for Disney fans through TeePublic and WDWNT.com. Go through WDWNT.com, click the TeePublic ad to shop from hundreds of designs for t-shirts, phone cases, prints, and more, including exclusive logo apparel, as well as original creations such as Save Figment. Confirmed, I read WDWNT.com. 7.
Yeah, 7.
10 more. There is a sale going on right now. You can get $14 shirts and everything's on sale. So go ahead, make the most of the rest of your evening, what's left of it, because it's 12:30, and shop through our extensive collection. TeePublic, an official partner of WDWNT March Madness and the March Tragic T-Shirt Tournament. Jason, let's show people the March Tragic T-Shirt Tournament.
Here it is.
Here we go through the tournament. We're going to find out. Those of you out there in the chat now get to have your opinions heard, and you get to pick what a shirt you would actually buy, and please vote for a shirt you would buy. Otherwise, you defeat the purpose of the tournament. Yeah. So let's see Jason, what do we got left here? We're going to go through these as quickly as possible.
Epcot wall carpets versus Legally Not Citrus Swirl.
The Epcot wall carpets versus the Legally Not Citrus Swirl. Those of you in the YouTube and the WDWNtunes.com chat, vote now, quickly. Because I'm not going to give you guys as much time as I have in the past. We got to get off the air for Park Center tonight and wrap up this tournament. Oh boy.
We have 2 votes for Flight of Passage.
It's
Great,
wall
thanks.
carpets.
27 nothing.
And we have 1 vote for Frozen.
Really?
Yep.
27-2. Wall carpets won because Citrus Swirl thing's already over. Everyone's done with that joke. So it tells you how things can change in the course of 3 weeks, right?
That's right.
There you go. Wall carpets won. Next up, the Ipcot. I don't know what the difference is with any of these. The Ipcots versus the Bob Chapek Robos. The Ipcots or the Bob Chapek Robos. We get a whole bunch of Robos. Yeah,
Yeah.
Robos.
Ipcot's had it, but then Robos.
Oh, but they're coming back.
Some people are voting twice, and I'm seeing that, so I'm not
Yeah.
counting those again. I do actually look at that, by the way, folks. I think the Ipcots. A lot of people are voting twice for Robos. Ipcots moving on. Next, Jason. The Figment Funko Fighters against the Politics of the Correctness. Figment Funko Fighters or Politics of the Correctness. You guys can weigh in too on this while we're waiting for people to vote. If anyone has an
Well,
opinion.
I like Funko Fighters better.
I like.
Well, one of these shirts will get me yelled at by a lot of people, as we learned this week, because I can't even use the term politically correct. Because apparently that's now offensive.
It's offensive to
The
use
term
the
politically correct is now offensive. Please help me. Please, somebody.
Who did you
Politics-
offend?
Who knows? People,
Quite a few people apparently by using the term
It wasn't enough that they
politically
removed the
correct.
scene. They now have to pummel anyone who has the opinion that the scene wasn't good into the ground. So that's where we are as a society. Not allowed to not like something just for it not being good. Politics of the correctness, I believe, has maybe barely.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it wins.
There's a lot in the YouTube chat. I'm seeing a lot of pirates. It's real close. I'll let the staff decide on this one. It's too close.
Politics.
I'll put it to this.
I'm
to
going
the seven.
politics.
Figment for me.
Politics.
Yeah, I mean, I would go with Figment because I'd actually wear that one.
I would actually wear Figment also.
Cranky dads wear politics are correct.
So you
I
actually
would-
solve
yeah.
nothing because it's a
I think
I
Figment
really-
Funko Fighters.
Yeah, I
Really?
really like Politics the Correctness, but I don't want to get, yelled at
assaulted.
and-
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's the
Oh,
bottom
that's
line is
true.
we can't even have fun with a shirt. That's the sad truth. Figment
Yeah.
Funko Fighters. Oh, I don't know this one. This one's rough. Walt Disney presents Things from After I Died or Because Money. I don't even know. I can't pick. I would buy both of these.
Yeah.
I would buy
Because
both of these, but
money-
at the same time, it feels a tiny bit morbid wearing the Walt Things from After I Died.
You know what?
I think so too.
Presents
think what'd be
Things
cool-
from After I Died.
I think would be cool is we should get together with the Walt's Frozen Head guys and make this
God.
Walt Disney Presents Things from After I Died shirt with
Now that
Walt's
could be a
Frozen
cute
Head,
lineup.
like Walt's Frozen Head presents.
No, I think it's
Things
just the
from After I
marquee from
Died.
the attraction, but we changed the underneath part to Things from After I Died, and it's like Guardians and Toy Story Land, and just things that are after he died.
Well, yeah, but
I think because money is like the future of the now and the future. So I think
It's
that would
true,
be
but
very
Yeah,
let me-
sadly, because money has blown away Things from After I Died already.
But how are we gonna do because money?
I
There are
already
many
have it
ways
figured
you could
out.
do
Don't worry
because
about
We'll
it.
figure it out because money.
These were all you're absolutely right. So the Epcot wall carpet or the Epcots? Epcot wall carpet or the Epcots? Someone said the Magnetron. The Magnetron Magnetos.
No.
The Magnetron Magnetos. Can I change the tournament?
No.
The Magnetron Magneto.
It is already almost 1:00 in the morning. You're not
Next year.
the tournament. Wall carpets wins.
No, it's close. Someone
Oh, they
voted
came back.
Magnetron.
Fair
no,
enough.
no, no. I-
Two for Magnetron.
Oh my gosh. I would wear
I got
Epcot
four.
again.
I would probably wear it
well, how can people?
over
How
Walt.
can people just put their own team in here? It doesn't even make any sense.
Because why not? Thank Alex.
Because
money.
Man. What actually won? I think Epcot.
I think Epcot.
Epcot.
Yeah.
Epcot. Someone else said the Orange Blossom Trail.
Orange Blossom what?
Write that down for next year. The Orange Blossom Trail mate.
Oh, really?
Why are these being pitched now at the end?
Image that.
All right, Epcot's back to the
Hangs in
tournament.
my head.
Epcot's wins. What's the next one? We see the next one.
Figment Funko Fighters and Because
We have
Money.
we have to see it. We have to see it.
It's there. See it.
Figment Funko Fighters or Because Money. By the way, you should be calling in if you need to vote for whatever reason. 407-774-8255. Because Money or the Figment Funko Fighters. Because Money. Because
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
All right, the final match. We know where this is going.
Somebody
The
didn't
final
report to
match-
Pencil Troopers.
Well, this is also accurate. This is what's actually
Get
happening.
both. Can we call it a tie?
Epcots or Because Money? Not Magneto. Stop voting for Magneto.
Alex.
God.
As much as I love them both, I think because money is the most relevant.
Someone said Mooney. So Sean Mooney got a vote.
Because Mooney.
Because Mooney. Frozen. Someone said Frozen. The winner of the 2018 March Tragic Tournament and the next WDWNT.com original creation shirt. Because Money.
Yay!
What a surprise!
Wow.
Because Money. This is about as shocking as Carousel of Progress, right? No, it's not. We knew this was going to win. Because Money dollar sign wins $2 signs. There you go. Because Money. All right, back to March Madness. So at some point that shirt will be made. Back to March Madness, Nick.
Nope, no more calls.
We don't
That's
have a
it.
call, which means
No.
the winner of the 2018 WDWNT March Madness Tournament, the best attraction at Walt Disney World, is Avatar Flight of Passage from Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park. Look, it has a crown. which is
Yay.
topped with the Epcot symbol for some reason. There you go. Flight of Passage has won it all.
All right.
Unseated the Haunted Mansion and is the new king. Ta-da.
Deservedly so.
Yay.
All right. So those of you, do we have a winner? Do we know who won?
I do, but there's no possible way we can have people call in.
We're not going to have people call in. They have to
No, but
message
can
us.
we announce the winner?
We're going to announce
So
who
they
won.
know-
Yeah. that
No,
was-
they won.
I can give you like the top couple winners if you want. At
Yeah,
least
let's
if-
very quickly.
according to my
So
calculation.
they know to message us. Do you have like
Um,
the top 16?
Cynthia with 21 points. Cynthia
I'm
was
sure
actually
only one Cynthia was playing.
Well, Cynthia should know if she has 21 points or not too.
Cynthia with 21 points.
Cynthia from New Hampshire. How about that?
There you go.
She was in the lead coming into tonight. Dropped out of the lead a little while, but Avatar Flight of Passage put her back in the lead.
Oh, so you started with number one.
Yes.
Oh,
She's
so you
the
killed
number
all the
one winner.
suspense.
How
Great.
anticlimactic
Great.
of you.
So Cynthia from New Hampshire, congratulations. You have won the grand prize pack.
All right.
Enjoy. And then 15 others have won. And I don't think we need to
Yes.
announce them because Jason ruined it already. So,
I ruined it. And I want to get off the air.
very quickly, I want to mention Park Center is still up next.
Yeah.
Enjoy Park Center. We are back next Wednesday with Back to the Future Live, the Disney monorail. I don't know why we're looking at nothing. Back to the Future, the Disney monorail, 9 p.m. next Wednesday, March 28th. And don't miss Wheel of Four Parks on WDWNT Game Night this Friday at 9 p.m. Thank you to everyone who played along. Thank you to everyone who listened. And congratulations, Avatar Flight of Passage, the winner of the WDWNT March Madness 2018 tournament. We'll see you real soon.
Bye-bye, everybody.